From the CSI Softball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II softball coverage live on the ECC network. Today's conference matchup features the Molloy College Lions taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Foreman, joined by my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona. And Nick, the Dolphins come in struggling as of late, 5 of 15 on the season, only 1 of 9 in conference play. We'll be looking to turn things around against this Lions team, and we'll talk more about that after the national anthem.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back here on the ECC network. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Nick Bavona. And Nick, ahead of the break, we spoke about the Dolphins' struggles in conference play. The Lions come in 12 and 15 overall, 6 and 2 in conference play. What will the Dolphins have to do to get back into the win column in ECC play?
Well, for the Dolphins, the Lions haven't played in a couple of days. The last game was Tuesday, so they've had a little bit of a couple of days off. They were supposed to play on Thursday, but they had a rain out, so both of their games were postponed. So now, for the Dolphins, they're going to need to pitch very, very good today because yesterday was not the brightest pitching for them. Kelsey Strayer gets the mound today. She pitched 3 innings yesterday. One of the bright spots for their pitching, at least yesterday, it wasn't a good outing for any of the CSI pitching, but as both games ended in a mercy rule. So if they're going to win this game, they need to pitch a lot better than they did yesterday in order to win.
Well, taking the circle for the College of Staten Island will be Kelsey Strayer. And for Strayer on the season, she comes in having appeared in 13 games, including 8 starts. Those 13 appearances and 8 starts both lead this Dolphins team. She's pitched to an 0-3 record, so she's in search of her first win. She has a whip of 2.37, an ERA of 8.12. In 39 2/3, she's allowed 86 hits and 60 runs. 46 of those runs earned. She's walked 8, struck out 21. Opposing batters hitting at .420 against her in 205 plate appearances. And it is time to play ball from the College of Staten Island. Temperatures in the mid-50s on this Saturday afternoon, and the first pitch of the game to Chrissy Hune is high for ball 1. Hune comes in hitting at .381. That's good for second on this Molloy College ball club, and she takes a look at the first strike of the game.
Yeah, it's always good to have someone in the lineup like that hitting .380 at the top of the order. That's very, very good numbers. So chance for Molloy maybe to get a runner on.
That's hit hard on the ground to third. Backhanded nicely by McPherson. Her throw right on target for the first out.
That was a heads-up play by McPherson with the backhanded stop. Strong throw to first and a great start for CSI defense as they get an early out, number 1.
McPherson was forced to play that ball along the line right behind third base. I think that ball being hit so hard actually helped her out as it allowed her to get the throw over to first a bit more quickly. 1 away now in the top half of the first, and Alex Burns will be the batter. Burns comes in also hitting well above the 300 mark at .366, one of several Lions hitting well above 300, but from there, it's a pretty steep drop-off.
And that's where CSI wants to take advantage. You want to get these first 2 batters out and try to take advantage of that steep drop-off. If they don't do that early on, then it's going to be a long game.
The top 5 hitters from Molloy, all well above the 300 mark. After that, the next best batting average among qualifiers is .250. Make that .268. And that's it on the ground over to short, handled by Moore. Her throw over to first in time for out number 2.
Nice strong throw by Moore. And a good start for CSI's defense. I mean, looking very solid early on. The sun is out, so, maybe they're seeing the ball a little bit clearer as of now, but we'll see how the weather pertains to the rest of the day.
It's getting a bit chilly out here. And
that it is.
I did warn the staff ahead of first pitch, before everyone got here, dress very warmly. And I think that would be advice that everyone should have taken, as the first pitch from Strayer misses to Courtney Green for ball 1. Green, another one of those Lions hitting well above the 300 mark. She comes in hitting at 342. And that's hit hard, but right to Elizabeth Moore, who makes the grab for the third out. It's a quick 1-2-3 first inning for Kelsey Strayer in the circle. The Dolphins come to bat after this break with no score.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins coming to bat in the bottom half of the first with no score. And the Lions were retired so quickly we didn't get a chance to go through the starting lineup. So we'll do that very quickly right now. For the Dolphins, leading things off is Jacqueline Cateridge, followed by Anissa Acosta, Samantha McPherson, Elizabeth Moore, Layla Aponte, Isabel Gallo, Mariah Carcano, Victoria Whalen, and Jessica Carrion. For the Lions, we saw Chrissy Hune come to the plate along with Alex Burns and Courtney Green. The rest of the Lions lineup in the cleanup spot is Elena Spates. Batting 5th is Carson Eaton. Batting 6th is Marissa Nicoletti. Batting 7th is Maya Cepeda. Batting 8th is Steph Conrad. And batting 9th is Amanda King.
Well, a very quick first inning for CSI. Was able to get out of it. Great job by Strayer and a great job by the CSI defense. Flashing the leather out there to start off the game. And now let's see if the bats can start with a nice spark here in the bottom of the first.
And the Dolphins will be facing Courtney Green in the circle for Molloy College. She comes in with a team-leading 8 wins to go along with 6 defeats. She's appeared in 14 games, including 13 starts. She has a 1.43 whip, a 4.29 ERA, and her first pitch of the game is low to Jacqueline Cateridge for ball 1. Green also has 10 complete games, including 2 shutouts, in 92 and a third innings pitched. She's allowed 102 hits, 55 runs, 44 of those earned. She's walked 30 and struck out a team-leading 72 batters, as Cateridge looks at that pitch just outside for ball 2.
And I think that's going to be the strategy for CSI today. Take some pitches, try to work the count, force her to get up high in the pitch count so you can get advantages later on in the game.
Throughout her tenure with the team, Cateridge has proven to be a patient hitter, and she gets a hold of that pitch and lines it into shallow left field for a leadoff base hit.
Let's see, this is why. You force the count, you got a 2-0. They had to throw a strike to avoid a 3-0 pitch. And that was a great job by Cateridge. She gets a leadoff single, so a good start for the Dolphins.
Good at-bat for Cateridge to open up the game. She's on with a leadoff base hit. And that will bring up perhaps the most feared hitter in this Dolphins lineup, Anissa Acosta. And, Nick, the numbers for Acosta simply remarkable so far this season.
Very staggering.
A .460 batting average, a .1362 OPS. She's a multiple-time East Coast Conference Rookie of the Week. In 63 at-bats, she has 29 hits, including 4 doubles, 1 triple, 6 home runs, a team-leading 24 RBIs, slugging at .841. And now she's ahead in the count, 2-0.
And now this might be another situation where they might have to throw a strike to get into this count. And for someone like Acosta, she's looking for that pitch to swing away.
2-0 the count on the Dolphins' first baseman. Here comes the pitch from Green. And Acosta takes a called strike.
That's a huge pitch for Green. I mean, you don't want to get in a 3-0 count with Acosta up, so able to get a strike there, but it's a huge chance for CSI with your best hitter up.
Count now 2-1. And Green misses outside for ball 3, so now you're in an even more dangerous spot on 3-1 than you were on 2-0.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting decision for Green. I mean, you don't want to give Acosta the pitch, that she can hit away, but you also do not want to walk the batter.
Here comes the 3-1, and Acosta fouls that pitch away, out of play. It'll be interesting to see here if the Dolphins send Cateridge. She does have good speed. I would suspect she'll be running on 3-2.
As long as she looks where the ball is, then that's fine. You don't want to get caught in a pickle where you could get it doubled up somehow.
Cateridge does not have a stolen base as Acosta lofts one into shallow left. That's down for a base hit. And Burns somehow was able to stop that on a hop off the dive.
Burns saving an extra base hit right there. That's the second time CSI, though, with a bloop single into left field, and they've got something brewing here in the bottom of the first inning. First and second, nobody out.
They sure do, as Samantha McPherson will be the batter. McPherson comes in, the Dolphins' third leading hitter at .317. He's tied for the team lead in doubles with 4. Is second in slugging at .383. And McPherson takes up high for ball 1. Just to put it into perspective, McPherson is second in slugging at .383. Acosta leads the team at .841.
Wow. Dangerous 2-3 combo in the CSI lineup.
Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's downstairs for ball 2. So Green has missed with 7 of her first 11 pitches, and now she's behind McPherson 2-0.
This has just been a rough start for Green. She hasn't been able to find the strike zone as much as she would want to. And a credit to CSI, they forced this third straight batter with a 2-0 count.
2-0 pitch on its way, and that's smacked out to deep left center field, and that will find its way into the gap. It's off the wall. Cateridge is coming home with the first Dolphins run. Acosta heads for the plate. The throw is cut off, and the Dolphins lead 2-0 behind a 2 RBI double from Samantha McPherson.
McPherson, she got the pitch that she wanted. Another 2-0 count forced by the Dolphins. They take advantage. And then McPherson, you see it right here, she just smacks it into left center field. Both runners come in, and a great start for the Dolphins. They're up 2-0 here in the first inning.
That's McPherson's team-leading 5th double, and RBIs number 10 and 11 for the Dolphins' third baseman. Elizabeth Moore is the batter. And the first pitch to Moore catches the outside corner for a called strike 1. And we said it, Nick. Green fell behind 2-0 3 straight times, got away with it each of the first 2 at-bats, did not get away with it against McPherson.
She had to get a strike there. I mean, her confidence obviously not off to a good start with those 3 straight hits. So it would be huge for her to get a first out, try to, force the damage not to be as much as it is right now.
And there's a good off-speed pitch from Green. She had Moore way out in front on that swing. And now the Dolphins shortstop is in a 2-strike hole.
This will be a huge strikeout for Green if she can get it.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and Moore takes outside for ball 1. If you're Moore here, at the very least, you want to try and move McPherson over to third base and give a chance to your number 5 hitter, Layla Aponte.
It's a huge opportunity for CSI. They could really put this game off to a great hot start. They can move the runner at least.
And Moore lofts one into shallow right field. This could be trouble, but King comes in to make the catch as that ball hung up in the air just long enough.
And we saw CSI, the first 2 hits were bloop singles in the left field, but that was a great heads-up play by Amanda King as she makes the play in right field. A huge first out for the Lions.
A couple of tough luck base hits for Courtney Green by the first 2 Dolphins who came to the plate. She did put herself in a tough spot, falling behind in the count, but McPherson crushed one off the wall, and once again a weakly hit ball out to right field by Moore. This time Green gets the out. That's just the first of the inning. And Layla Aponte will be the batter. McPherson still stands in scoring position over at second, and Aponte takes a called strike 1.
Aponte hitting .237 on the season, so if she can get a big base hit right here, opportunity for her to not only improve her batting average, but to bring home that third run.
Aponte, one of 5 Dolphins who has started in all 20 games entering today's matchup with the Lions, and she fouls away that 0-1 pitch. For the second straight batter now, Green is ahead 0-2.
A lot different from the first 3 batters where she had a 2-0 count. She's been able to work to an 0-2 count these last couple of hitters, and now another chance for her to get a big second out.
Such a huge difference pitching from ahead 0-2. And that pitch misses badly for ball 1. Isabel Gallo stands on deck. Green glances towards her dugout for the call on the pitch. Here comes the 1-2. And Aponte takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner.
That's a huge pitch by Green. Got the outside corner, got the big second out, and now it's up to Gallo to bring home that runner from second to keep the inning alive for the Dolphins.
Isabel Gallo.
Isabel Gallo steps into the box, the Dolphins' second leading hitter at .320. She has also started all 20 games for CSI. Is third in slugging on the CSI team. Or check that, third in on-base percentage, 5th in slugging.
Once again, Green getting an early strike, so she's been able to get the strike zone now adjusted here the last couple of batters.
And the 0-1 pitch is outside. Dolphins looking for a big 2-out base hit with a runner in scoring position here. They already lead by 2 as the first 3 batters all reached on base hits. Here comes the 1-1 to Gallo. And that's off the outside corner for ball 2. This next pitch will be number 24 in the inning for the Lions left-hander, Courtney Green.
That's a good start by CSI, forcing the pitch count very, very early on. So they're trying to make Green work, a short outing here.
And Gallo lofts one into shallow right. That's a foul ball. The Lions have only had 3 different players log innings in the circle this year. Dolphins have had far more than that. 5 different Dolphins have pitched for CSI through their first 20 games. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins catcher. And the pitch from Green is hit out to left center field. And Conrad ranges to her right to make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. But not before the Dolphins score the game's first 2 runs on 3 base hits. They strand 1 in scoring position. Our score after 1, 2-0 Staten Island.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we're back from the CSI Softball Complex. Joe Foreman and Nick Bavona on the call from the College of Staten Island as the Dolphins have taken a 2-0 lead after 1. And Nick, the Dolphins' bats came out red hot in the bottom half of the first inning.
Well, the Dolphins' key to success was getting that pitch count high early on for Courtney Green. The first 3 batters all had a 2-0 count, and they were able to force some base hits, 2 bloops in the left field, and then a monster shot by McPherson. 2-run double in the left center. Puts the Dolphins on the board, but a great job by Green, nonetheless, to get out of that inning with only 2 runs.
24 pitches in the first inning for the Lions starting pitcher as Kelsey Strayer finds the outside corner for a called strike 1 to Elena Spates. And in stark contrast to what we saw from Green in the first, Strayer only threw 8 pitches in the top half of the first.
And that was a testament to the CSI defense. They had some early outs. Great play by McPherson at third and 2 solid plays at shortstop.
Batter Spates comes in 8 of 34 on the season to this point. Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike as that misses downstairs for ball 2.
Yeah, if you're Molloy, you want to do the same exact thing CSI just did in the top and the bottom of that first inning. Get some pitches forced.
And there's a shot by
Spates,
Spates, but that is hit right at Jessica Carrion, the Dolphins' sure-handed left fielder, for the first out.
Carrion played that perfectly. She waited on the ball, saw it, caught it. Nice start. And once again, another solid start to the inning for Strayer. She gets a nice defensive play from her defensive players as there's a big first out.
Carrion, arguably the most sure-handed Dolphin out in the field. She is a tremendous defensive left fielder, and she made that play look easy for the first out. Carson Eaton will be the batter, and Eaton hits one on the ground right back up the middle for a base hit.
And there's maybe a spark for the Lions. They get a 1-out single there. Nice job right there to get it up the middle to get a 1-out single. And let's see if the tie run at the plate for the Lions. Can they put some damage on the board?
For Eaton, that base hit is her 20th of the season. And that will give Marissa Nicoletti a chance for the runner on and 1 out. Nicoletti, 12 hits and 45 plate appearances. She's one of 3 Lions who has started all 27 games for Molloy. Comes in hitting at .267. And the 1-0 pitch from Strayer sails up high for ball 2.
And we saw CSI in the bottom of the first inning. They were able to work some 2-0 counts to get some hits. So now can Molloy do the exact same thing here in the top of the second? 2-0 count for Nicoletti.
And the 2-0 pitch is skied out over to short as that stays on the infield for Moore. And she makes the catch for the second out.
Well, Moore's very active early on here in this game. 2 plays in the first inning. Now a nice pop-up right there for her. And a second out right there for Strayer. Try to get out of the second inning.
That's a big pitch from Strayer behind 2-0. Induces a weak pop-up. And it looked like Nicoletti just got under that ball. As Maya Cepeda will be the batter, and she takes a called strike 1.
Cepeda hitting .400 on the season, so good. She's been hitting so far so good for the Lions. Can she get some damage here with 2 outs?
She was a late addition to the lineup, just 5 at-bats for her this year. This is her first start in this afternoon's game, and she's quickly retired for the final out of the inning. So the Lions strand 1, they pick up their first base hit, but the Dolphins still lead 2-0, heading to the home half of inning number 2.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back on the ECC network. Dolphins looking to build upon a 2-0 lead in the bottom half of the second inning. Bottom of the order for CSI, 7, 8, 9 due up. And Mariah Carcano will step into the left-hand hitter's batter's box to get things started in the home half of the second.
Carcano hitting .277 on the season. She's been off to a great start.
First pitch of the bottom half of the second, out of the zone for ball 1 as we had to communicate with the stats desk for a moment. Sounds like our trainer is being summoned to the Lions dugout, which is positioned directly to the right of Nick and I. As that's a nice play by the Lions infield to throw out Carcano over at first for out number 1.
Carcano was blazing down the first baseline, but a heads-up play from Molloy to get a huge first out here in the second.
That was a softly hit grounder. It took a strong throw to get Carcano once that ball got by Green. And nicely done by Hune over at shortstop to make the play look easy. That will bring Victoria Whalen to the plate.
2-1-2, 2-1-2.
Whalen comes in just 1 of 18 on the season, and she takes a called strike 1.
This is an opportunity for Whalen to try to, get some at-bats here, try to improve her batting average. Great opportunity for her here in game 1 of this doubleheader.
And the 0-1 pitch is out of the zone. As I mentioned, a limited sample size for Whalen, just 18 at-bats. She's appeared in 10 games and started 8 times.
2-1-4, 2-1-4.
Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that's a good off-speed pitch on the outside corner for a called strike 2.
Whalen looking for the fastball there, but a nice off-speed pitch by Green. She was not expecting that one right there.
And you could tell Whalen was ready to jump on a fastball. Got the off-speed stuff and had to try and hold back. She was fooled. Here comes the 1-2. And that's outside.
Yeah, good out by Whalen. From here, it looked like a good pitch, but opportunity for her now to work the count and try to force more pitches for Green.
So tough to read that outside corner from our angle. We're on about a 45-degree angle behind home plate on the right side of the backstop. Here comes the 2-2. And that's a shot straight into the Lions' dugout.
And I think everyone, thankfully, is okay.
I sure hope so. That was a line drive, and that's the second time we've seen that in as many games. It is tough to get a ball over the fence and into the dugout. It's now happened twice in the last week and a half.
That's a scary, scary play right there. Hopefully everyone is okay.
And that definitely hit the back wall of the dugout, but some surprised faces in that Molloy dugout. I can't overstate how tough it is to do that.
2-3-4, 2-3-4.
Nice launch angle, as they would say on that play.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's fouled away by Whalen once again.
And the whole Molloy dugout, they had a duck on that one. It looked like another play going.
There was no time to duck.
Yeah.
That was a shot.
Credit to Whalen. She's been rocking these last couple of pitches.
This next pitch will be number 7 in the at-bat. Number 33 for Courtney Green in the game. And the 3-2 is hit on the ground softly, and Green will make the throw over to first in time for the second out.
Well, a very productive out, to say the least, for Whalen. Forced up a couple of pitches, worked the count full, and unfortunately she grounds out there. Big second out for Courtney Green.
The left fielder, number 12.
That will bring Jessica Carrion to the plate.
Carrion looking to also improve her batting average here.
2 of 35 on the season. And I have spray charts dating back to all of her home games played last year. And I have not recorded one ball hit out of the infield. A lot of slapping to the left side, a lot of bunts. Carrion, a patient hitter, has drawn several walks as well.
And for our viewers, you saw Carrion's stance right there. She, goes up in the batter's box just like someone like Ichiro Suzuki, and she hit down the third base line for foul ball.
A walk rate of about 1 in 8 at-bats for Carrion, but that pop-up is handled behind the plate by Ducharme, and that will bring the second inning to a close. The Dolphins go down 1-2-3, and our score remains 2-0 Staten Island.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader, I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Lions come to bat, trailing by 2 in the road third inning. And the first pitch of the inning from Kelsey Strayer misses for ball 1. Now, over public address, the batter was announced Steph Conrad. There is an E at the end, but I was pronouncing it Conrad. We don't have a pronunciation guide with her name there, so.
If I had to guess, I would agree with you. I think it's Conrad. And the E is silent, but.
I agree. That's what I think as well.
But it's tough for, someone to announce that. For someone that's done PA, it's very hard to announce some of the names when you don't know the pronunciation of it.
Well, we'll have to get a consensus on it in between games, but I'll go with Conrad for now. As the 1-1 pitch is chopped on the ground to short, handled by Moore, and her throw is not in time, and the double clutch cost the Dolphins that out.
Moore's had a good start to this game, too, defensively, but you saw there, I mean, she double clutched, and it cost CSI. That's going to be... now, they have it up as a hit. I don't know if that's a... Is that a hit? Do you think so?
Yeah. Now, we had some controversial scorings last night. That was handled after the game. But there were a couple of plays where it was tough to tell if a glove had made contact with the ball. Another one where it was tough to tell if it should have been a hit or an error. Now, I'm not the official scorer, but let's just say I had them all right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our stats did not. We had to go back and fix it. It was a late night. As the 1-0 pitch misses to Amanda King for ball 2.
The game last night is starting to get a little bit dark at the turn on the field lights.
King comes in, hitting an even 250. As a hitter's count here, I had 2-0. And Strayer's pitch is in for a called strike. Throw to second, and the runner slides in safely as Conrad steals second base, but she may be a bit shaken up.
Yeah, Conrad got a good jump on that play. Was able to get into second base safely, but as you said, Joe, she's a little bit gingerly getting up, but it looks like she's going to stay in the game.
That was a good throw from Gallo, too. As you said it, Nick. King had a good jump, and that was a close play. I thought the call could have gone either way.
Now an opportunity for the Lions. They got a runner in score position with nobody out.
Chance to cut the Dolphins' lead in half with a base hit. Here comes the 2-1, and that's up high.
And now with 3-1 count, with first base open, what does Strayer do here?
I think you have to keep attacking with the top of the order coming up next. Here comes the 3-1. And that's hit hard at the center fielder, Carcano, and she overran the ball as that is off her glove and rolls to the fence. It will be likely an error as that goes up as a hit. I'm not sure about that. That was a shot, Nick, but that's a catch that has to be made.
And you said it, Joe. She had a bad read on the play. She ran in to make the play, but she overran it, and it cost CSI as that's a run for the Lions, and we'll have to see what they officially announce that as.
Well, it went up as a hit. It did hit off the glove. It was hit very hard, but that's a play she should have made. She overran the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it an error. Personally, we'll talk about it during the break. I can certainly be swayed on that one.
They fixed it on the scoreboard. Now 2 hits.
They did, but we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we will in between this half inning and the next half inning. But for now, it goes up as an error. And I think it has to because it hit off her glove. She overran the ball. It was a shot, no doubt.
Absolutely.
But I think for now, that goes down as an error. And
a play like that, it's tough because
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
As that is slapped through the left side for a base hit. And the Lions have tied the score at 2 behind an RBI single from Chrissy Hune.
Hune with a nice shot down the third base line. And McPherson, with her credit, made a diving play to try to stop the ball, but unfortunately went right past her glove. And Molloy has tied the game here in the top of the third inning.
So right now, what has gone up as an error is a costly error for the Dolphins. As the Lions have tied the score and are looking for more, as Whalen could not make the catch. And the throw to second, almost in time to cut down Hune, but she slides in safely. And the Lions now have 2 on with nobody out.
Well, we saw CSI earlier with some blue pits. Now Molloy gets one, and Whalen almost made the play at right field, but you're right, it was a close bang-bang play, also at second base, as she almost got the throw in time. But danger of brewing for the Dolphins here. First and second, nobody out.
Courtney Green will be the batter when the action resumes. Chance to help her own cause right here. Her team now even. 3 hits in the inning for Molloy. And that could be changed to 4. We'll have to talk about it in between innings, get a look at the replay. But what do you think, Nick? Hit or error if you had to make the call right now?
I'm not sure how they rule that when something like that happens when you overrun the ball. If I had to guess, I would say it has to be an error just because it was a catchable ball, but she ran in and she did too much running in, and that's what caused the runner to not only score, but it caused Molloy to have a runner at third because of that.
Well, I have a feeling that after discussing it, it's going to get changed to a hit. I have a feeling. We'll talk about it.
It's very, very close.
We'll talk about it, but I have a feeling that's going to get changed. You have the replay?
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it when we come back from the next break. As the 2-0 pitch is hit well out to center field. Another chance for Carcano, and she makes the catch over the shoulder. And the runner over at second, Hune, will advance to third. So now the Lions have runners on the corners with 1 out. And a fly ball could give Molloy the lead.
Well, Carcano had a tough play earlier on in this inning, and now she makes a huge catch right there, saving extra bases and a big first out for CSI. Now a chance to get a double play ball and get out of this inning.
Well, how similar was that ball to the last one? A bit more air on that one.
Yeah, because that first one was a line drive, so that was a tough call.
I think that's why it's going to get changed to a hit. As the runner will tag on that fly ball. Carry-on's throw to the plate is a good one into the runner. And going first to second will be Burns. Scoring the go-ahead run is Hune from third. And it's a sacrifice fly for Elena Spates to put the Lions ahead 3-2.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. I mean, that was a great throw by Carry-on. Just not in time. You're right behind the runner. And now Molloy has the lead, and both runners advance. So now they have a runner in score position once again.
Now batting the second baseman, number 4, Carson Eaton.
That will bring up Carson Eaton. Eaton is 1 for 1, singled in her first at-bat. A single here could put her team ahead by 2 as Eaton looks at that pitch up and away for ball 1. I see you clipping that replay, Nick. So after the next pitch, we'll take a quick look. Here comes the 1-0 from Strayer. And that's downstairs as the runner thought about third base, but Burns is back.
So let's take a look. She tries to make the play, but as you said, she runs in too much, and then it goes over her head. And I thought it hit the glove at one point, too.
It certainly hit the glove.
So that could be the reason why I think it should be an error.
As once again, Strayer was behind 2-0. That pitch is fouled away by Eaton. And the count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. I think when you have to take this many looks, the call probably has to be overturned. So we'll see. I mean, they had it as a hit. They looked at me for my input, and my initial reaction was error. So we'll talk about it. As the 2-1 pitch misses up high, they'll throw behind the runner, but Burns is back in easily.
And this might be a situation where if with first base open, maybe the Strayer, you don't want to walk him and try to get first and second with 2 outs. So Strayer needs to get this final out to keep it 3-2.
And the 3-1 is downstairs for ball 4. So Strayer issues the walk to Eaton. For Strayer, that walk is her first of the game. And now Marissa Nicoletti will come to the plate with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, it's not the worst thing for Strayer to give up the walk there, because now you have to play at any base here with 2 outs. But Nicoletti has a chance to open up this game for the Lions.
Nicoletti flew out her first time, and there's a shot. That goes well foul. Both runners will head back to their respective bases as they were going on contact there. And That ball was well foul.
But as you said, Nicoletti gave that a shot to left field.
Just a bit early, and that's chopped foul as well. So Nicoletti's quickly in a 2-strike hole. But you can tell she's looking to attack these pitches from Strayer.
And if you're McPherson at third base, you better stay alert. She's heading it down that third base line. Same thing for Carry-On.
Comes the 0-2, and that's chopped back to the circle. It gets by Strayer. Throw from Aponte just in time. And the side is retired, but not before the Lions take the lead behind 3 base hits. They strand a pair. Our score heading to the bottom of the third, 3-2 Molloy.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. I discussed with our statisticians that play in the previous inning, and the consensus is error.
Kansas was error. I mean, if it hits the glove, you're right. It has to be ruled an error. But not only that, her running in and then mistiming it also cost CSI that play.
Like I said, that ball was a rocket, but I think the bad break combined with the ball hitting the glove is what makes it an error. I think if the ball had just been misread, obviously it's a hit because it wasn't contacted, but that bad break combined with the contact on the glove makes that an error in my book, and that is how it will be scored officially. As the 0-1 pitch misses high to Cateridge for ball 1. Jacqueline singled her first time up, helped the Dolphins to a 2 spot in the first inning.
Yeah, that first at bat, Cateridge got a 2-0 count, got that bloop single to left field. But you see Green here, she's not getting into a 2-0 count this time. She's got her down 1-2.
Well, Green was much more efficient in a 1-2-3 second inning. Retired the Dolphins very quickly. She's ahead of Cateridge 1-2 here. And that pitch is off the outside corner for ball 2.
And if you're Cateridge, you want to get on base so you get Nisa Acosta an opportunity to bring you home and tie this game potentially.
Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that's outside as well for ball 3.
Cateridge doing a great job in this at bat. Down 1-2 now, full count. Chance to get a walk and get an early runner on for CSI.
3-2 the count on the Dolphins' designated player. And the payoff pitch from Green hits Cateridge square in the numbers.
And Cateridge going right to first base, not showing any signs of pain.
Well, that sounded very painful, I can tell you, and we're seated very close.
Looks like she's going to stay in the game, but that was, you're right, Joe, that was a shot into her back.
She got drilled with that pitch. So Anissa Acosta will get a chance with a runner on. Acosta singled in her first plate appearance. The second of 3 straight Dolphins base hits in the bottom half of the first. And Acosta takes a called strike 1.
And once again, that's another first pitch strike off speed for Green. She has really fooled the CSI Dolphins with their off speed pitches. They've been looking fastball the last couple of batters.
Comes the 0-1. And that's off the glove of Ducharme, and that allows Cateridge to take second base.
That's a costly mistake from Molloy. Now, Acosta has the runner in scoring position. And with her numbers, that's a great opportunity for her to keep those numbers going up. And a chance for CSI to tie the game.
First base is now open. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that's chopped on the ground to third. Cateridge has looked back to second. And that's nicely done by Nicoletti over at third. And there's one away.
Well, you said it, Joe. Nicoletti took a strong look at the second base just to make sure that Cateridge wasn't running. And once she saw that she wasn't running, she made a strong throw to first to get Acosta out. Big first out for the Lions. Now you have Sam McPherson at the plate in. She had a rock into left center field last time. 2 RBIs. That's the only runs for the Dolphins. Can she get another one in right now?
McPherson came up with 2 on in her first at bat. Comes to the plate here with Cateridge in scoring position, 1 out. And McPherson is behind in the count, 0-1. And the pitch from Green is taken downstairs. McPherson's double, a scorcher off the left center field wall. Dolphins were ahead 2-0 before recording their first out. And that's hit hard toward the middle, and Eaton can't make the diving stop. Cateridge heading for the plate. The throw off target. It rolls to the backstop, and McPherson is into second base with an RBI single. She advances on the throw, and the Dolphins have tied the score at 3.
McPherson, have yourself an early game. She gets a 2-run double in the first inning. Now a nice single past the second baseman right there. Puts the Dolphins back into a tie. And she got into second base because of the bad throw. So now another opportunity for CSI to attack for another run.
The top of the Dolphins' order is feasting right now. They have reached base in 5 of 6 plate appearances in the first 3 spots of that Dolphins lineup. Elizabeth Moore is the batter, and she lines one foul. Moore flew out her first time up. McPherson stands in scoring position for the second time today. She was stranded back in the first inning.
McPherson with 3 RBIs today. She had 9 coming into the game. Now it's 12 on the season, so getting those numbers up.
And Moore takes out of the zone for ball 1. McPherson was the most dangerous bat in the Dolphins lineup last year, and she's right up there with Anissa Acosta this season, having herself a great start to this game as Moore takes a called strike 2.
And Green really needing a strikeout right here to get a second out, as Moore is a very good hitter as well. So if for Green, she needs this big third pitch strike to get a huge second out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
1-2 the count on the Dolphin shortstop, and Moore takes up high. I think it's only a matter of time before we see that off-speed pitch again.
And Moore's got to know that coming into this bat right here. Green has fooled the Dolphin hitters with that off-speed.
Here comes the 2-2. And that's up high for ball 3. So the count is full. Unlikely McPherson runs with just 1 out. Here comes the payoff pitch from Green. And that swung on and missed for strike 3. And Nick, I think Green took a little bit off that one.
I think, yeah, you're right, Joe. I mean, she really was trying to swing for the fences on that swing. That's a huge strikeout for Green. Gets a big second out. And it's going to be up to now Layla Aponte to bring home the go-ahead run here at the bottom of the 3rd.
For what it's worth, that pitch was right down the middle. And Layla Aponte will be the batter. She struck out looking her first time up. Chance to give CSI the lead, but that won't do it as she chops one straight back to the circle, and Green throws her out for the final out of the 3rd inning. But not before the Dolphins get even. They strand 1 in scoring position, but have tied the score at 3 heading to the 4th.
You Know 'Em Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know 'Em Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know 'Em Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know 'Em Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know 'Em Right.
Baseman number 25, Maya Cepeda.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Score now evened up again at 3 runs per side. 2 in the first for CSI, 3 in the third for Molloy. The Dolphins respond with 1 in the bottom half of inning number 3. Both teams with 4 base hits in the game.
And all 3 of those runs coming from Sam McPherson and also 2 hits. So she has been very active today. Here it's only the top of the 4th inning. So some great production early on for CSI.
And the 1-0 pitch is chopped on the ground by Maya Cepeda, and she is thrown out for the first out of the 4th inning.
Now batting, the center fielder, number 22, Steph Conrad.
Well, that will bring up Steph Conrad. Conrad's 1-for-1, singled to the left side her first time, beat out a slow dribbler on the infield, and she takes up high for ball 1. Comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's lined right to Elizabeth Moore at short for the second out.
Moore's been, like as we said, very active in this game. Another line drive to her, and she makes a nice second out for CSI.
Strayer had a lightning-quick first inning in the circle. Ran into some trouble in the third. Now looking for another quick inning here in the 4th. And that pitch is in for a called strike. King reached on a potentially debatable error in her first at bat, but we all agreed that E8 was the correct ruling.
But as we said, it was a rocket into center field, so it was a tough play nonetheless, but playable play right there for carry on.
Well, how hard that ball was hit at Carcano in center is the only reason why it was questionable, because the ball hit her glove and she made a bad break on the ball, which is the biggest reason why she didn't catch it. It was the bad break, but we've spoken about that play quite a bit. I'm sure King would have preferred it to be ruled a hit, as that's lined through the middle, and now King has her first base hit of the game.
It's as if she heard you, Joe. She wanted that hit. Now she got it here with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, no doubt about that one. That was as hard hit a ground ball as you'll see.
As we have a mound visit coming up. Looks like maybe, do we have a pitching change perhaps?
We have a pitching change coming up, it appears. And it looks like coming out of the Dolphins dugout,
it's going to be Alexis Miramontes coming in.
Will be Alexis Miramontes. So with 2 outs in the 4th inning and 1 runner on, Miramontes came out of the dugout and was called back. Strayer staying in.
Hey, you know what? I like that from players. She told her coach, listen, let me get this last out. There's 2 outs in the inning. It's been an up and down start for Strayer, but she wants to get this final 3rd out here in the top of the 4th.
Well, I'll tell you, Nick, I think the reason why the pitching change was coming is that's grounded through the left side for a base hit. I think the reason why the pitching change was coming right there is because that last at bat that we just saw from Chrissy Hune, that begins the third turn through the lineup, and I think that's why Tracy Garofalo was making the pitching change.
And now we're going to get the pitching change.
Yep. Like I said, I think the reason why the pitching change was being made right there is because the third turn through the order was beginning. So Hune is on with a 2-out base hit. That's back-to-back 2-out singles for the Lions. And now Alexis Miramontes will enter the game for the College of Staten Island. And Nick, I see you have the numbers on Miramontes.
This is going to be Miramontes' 13th appearance on the season. She is 2-6 with a 6.61 ERA, 2.14 WHIP. You know, she's given up 34 earned runs, 15 walks, 18 strikeouts. So it's been an up and down season for Miramontes, but she has a chance to get CSI out of this inning, get a big third out, and keep the game 3-3.
Well, the number that really jumps out for Miramontes is the 42 runs in 36 innings. Now, you said, Nick, only 34 of those are earned, so 8 unearned runs out of 42 for the Dolphins right-hander. And Miramontes has also allowed 62 hits in just 36 innings. She has the second-best batting average against on this Dolphin staff, but that's not saying much, as that average is .376 in 165 opponent plate appearances. She's also allowed 19 extra base hits, including 12 doubles, 1 triple, and 6 home runs.
And she's facing a dangerous hitter in Alex Burns, who coming into this game was hitting .366 with 2 home runs already. So this would be a big out. Miramontes can get it.
Well, Miramontes leads this Dolphin staff in home runs allowed, and she certainly wants to avoid the long ball right here as Burns swings through that pitch for strike 1. Burns is 1 for 2 in the game, has grounded out and singled.
And a single most certainly would bring home the run, so Miramontes wants to get out of this jam.
And that's it on the ground to third, handled by McPherson. And Burns is retired for the third out. So Alexis Miramontes comes in relief, throws just 2 pitches, strands a pair, and the Dolphins and Lions head to the bottom half of the 4th inning, tied at 3.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Isabel Gallo leads things off for the Dolphins in the home half of the 4th inning and fouls away the first pitch for strike 1.
The wind's starting to pick up a bit here.
It sure is. Our viewers did learn I'm somewhat of a meteorologist, so I might be able to tell you what that means. That was our last broadcast on Thursday of last week. We thank those of you who have tuned in for both games and have been loyal viewers all season long. Count even on the Dolphins catcher at 1-1, and that's grounded toward the middle, but Hune gets there and throws out Gallo for out number 1.
And a nice job by Hune there to make a big first out from Molloy. As Courtney Green has really settled down, had given up that hit in the last inning to McPherson, but other than the first inning she's been pitching very, very well here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Mariah Carcano is the batter. She grounded out her first time up. Nearly beat out a soft ground ball on the infield as she takes a called strike.
And you're right, she just missed getting an infield single, but heads up play by the Lions defense to get that out.
It's been a good defensive game from both teams. One misread fly ball is the lone blemish on either team's stat line.
And if you're a coach, you can ask for nothing more than that. You want a good defense out on the field, and can't complain with something like that. It's a tough read by Carcano, but I mean, other than that, it's been a good defensive day.
And that's blooped off the glove of Hune, and that will indeed be an error. And as we're singing the praises of each team's defense, we have that happen.
Well, Joe, I follow a page.
That just went on the scoreboard as a hit, Nick.
Oh.
No way.
We got to have a talk about that. There's no way.
No way.
Well, before that happened, I mean, I was going to say, Joe, I follow a page on Twitter that's baseball images that, precede bad events, and we just brought one up right there with that. It's definitely an error. We'll have to correct that during the break, but as of now, it's a hit for the Dolphins.
Now, was that the blame game right there, coming from Joe Masha pointing at Lewis? Was he indicating that Lewis called that a hit?
Now, remember, if our viewers remember correctly, that last game we called, we had Team Masha versus Team Matrone, and at the end, Team Matrone technically was the winner, but he did not stick up for himself. That's why we call him the Jellyfish now, because now it was Team Masha at the time that won, but in all hindsight, it was Team Matrone that won.
Well, we clarified during our next broadcast, that was a baseball game.
Correct.
There was no Team Masha on that. That was Team Dolphins dugout versus Team Lewis and Team Masha. They were united as one at the stats desk, but were overruled by the Dolphins dugout. So it's Team Jellyfish over there.
Team Jellyfish, yeah.
Our two statisticians. As they look over, they hear me talking and having a good laugh about it.
They corrected it on the scoreboard now, so now there is 4 hits for the Dolphins in the error.
Well, that's certainly the right decision, as that ball was not contacted by Whalen's bat. It hit off of Ducharme's glove, and that allowed Carcano to take second base on the pass ball.
Now the scoreboard says strike 2. I don't think it's strike 2. It should be 2-1, correct?
If that was called a ball, then you're right. We'll see right here if the umpire signals the count.
Oh, it was a strike.
It was. Now, it looked like Whalen may have offered at that pitch as well with a half swing.
The first strike came off the barrel of the bat.
And once again, a half swing by Whalen, and that's a foul ball.
But remember what happened in Whalen's first at bat. She forced a lot of pitches on Green, and she's doing it again here, trying to get the pitch count up. So with a runner in scoring position, Whalen trying to find a pitch to hit and bring home that run to get the Dolphins back to lead.
This pitch will be number 6 in the at-bat for Whalen. Carcano stands in scoring position over at second following the passed ball. Here comes the 2-2. And that's off the outside corner for ball 3.
This is going to be an interesting pitch. You got first base open, so it wouldn't be the worst thing if you walked Whalen here, but you want to get that second out if you're Courtney Green.
Payoff pitch upcoming from the Lions left-hander. The 3-2 on its way, and that is ball 4.
And Molloy dugout, they were not happy with the call. As they said, Whalen went around with the swing. But it's a walk nonetheless, and first and second for the Dolphins.
The Lions dugout wanted the home plate umpire to ask for help, and the umpire obliged, but to no avail for the Lions, and Jessica Carrion is the batter. Lions definitely are looking bunt here, and Carrion lays one down. It's handled by Nicoletti, but she bobbles and loses the play.
There was no one there. That's a great bunt by Carrion. But you're right, there was no one on first base. So now it's bases loaded for the Dolphins. You see in the replay, there was no one there on first base to make the play. Carrion got there with ease. And now we have a mound visit.
Well, Nick, I didn't realize there was no one covering first base. I thought initially that Nicoletti had bobbled the ball a bit, but she was
did.
double clutch. Oh, she did bobble.
She
Okay,
did
I was
bobble it,
correct.
but there was no one on first base to make the throw, even if she had it.
Had she not bobbled, would there have been a play? I don't think so.
I'll show you on the replay.
It's a hit nonetheless.
I'll show you on the replay again.
Let's take a look.
You'll see the first baseman comes in on the ball. So she was already in. The second baseman didn't go to cover first base.
Yeah, I don't think they had a play anyway. It's a bunt single for carry-on.
It was a great bunt nonetheless.
No doubt. As right now we have a conference in the circle. And the bases are now loaded with Dolphins, and we said it earlier, the top of the CSI lineup, spots 1 through 3 in the order, have been feasting. They now get a chance here with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Caterich has gone on base twice in this game, and now she's got bases juiced, 1 out. Molloy looking for a double play ball, but huge chance for CSI to take back the lead.
Caterich has reached base twice. Once via single, the second time via the hit by pitch. And the first pitch from Green is popped up in foul territory, out of play.
And with Anissa Acosta on deck, I mean, if you're Courtney Green, you want to get out of this jam quickly and as fast as possible.
Green looks to her dugout for the signs. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Caterich. And that misses for ball 1.
That CSI dugout hyping up Caterich here with a 1-1 pitch coming up.
This perhaps her biggest at-bat of the season as she lost one into shallow right field. If that's fair, it's trouble, and it's down. 1 run is in, and that is all for the Dolphins as the base runners tried to get a read on that ball. And from my vantage point, you could see that there was no way that ball was being caught. Fair or foul was the question.
It has been some tough breaks from Molloy these last couple of batters, as that just stays fair. And another bloop single for Caterich. She had one in the first inning. Now another one right there past the first baseman. And CSI is back on top.
Some say it's better to be lucky than good. And if you're the Dolphins in this game right now, that's the case. They've had a lot of soft base hits.
That's to say the least. And now with Anissa Acosta up with bases loaded, still 1 out. Molloy needs to try to get out of this jam. This is a big opportunity for CSI to open up the game.
For Caterich, that's only her second RBI. Acosta already has a grand slam here at home as Whalen is forced out at the plate, and Acosta is doubled up at first for the final out of the inning. Whalen didn't run on contact. She was holding at third, not that it mattered. And the throw to first over with plenty of time to get Acosta. What a huge play for the Lions. The Dolphins' lead is 1 through 4. We'll be right back with the 5th inning here on CSI Sportsnet.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experience as possible.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins now lead 4-3 through 4. But a big opportunity for the Dolphins goes by the wayside as Anissa Acosta came to the plate with the bases loaded and grounded into an unconventional 5-2-3 double play.
Don't see that very often, but when those situations come with bases loaded, you're going to see it sometimes.
You don't see Anissa Acosta record an out very often. She came in hitting at 460.
And that's why I said it was very, very big for Molloy to get out of that jam. And credit to Courtney Green, who's up to the bat right now. She got out of that jam. It's only 4-3 as we head to the top of the fifth.
A big base hit for Acosta there. Could have possibly chased Green from the game. So that out is huge. As we mentioned it before, the Lions only have 3 pitchers who have recorded innings this year.
And, to keep it a one-score game, considering how that inning went for Molloy, that's very, very huge.
Definitely a victory.
So they'll take that any day, but obviously you don't want to be losing. So they have a chance to tie the game here in the top of the fifth inning. And a 3-1 count for Courtney Green.
Now, I think one play you may look back on in that inning and lament a bit is that flare by Caterich. There was no doubt that ball wasn't going to be caught. The only question is fair or foul. I was shocked the Dolphins only scored 1 run.
I think they were confused as well, as there's a ground ball to first base. Heads-up play by Nisa Acosta in the first out of the inning.
That's a nice job by Acosta. She was positioned perfectly in front of that ball, handled the tough hop with no problem, and there's 1 out here in the fifth.
But as you said, Joe, it was a tough play to read on. When there's a ball in play, you always are running. So for some reason, CSI wasn't running on that play. They were able to thankfully get a run in.
Well, there was 1 out.
They definitely could not. They definitely could have gotten a second run.
They couldn't run on contact with 1 out. I get that.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, and we have a good angle for that ball, we're positioned behind the backstop on the right side. It was clear to me that ball wasn't going to be caught.
No.
The only question was fair or foul, and I see you were looking at the replays. If you want to throw it up again, we sure can after this next pitch. As Elena Spates awaits the 1-0 for Miramontes, and she is hit by the pitch. So let's take a look at that play again very quickly, Nick, and see. We could slow it down as well. Let's see when the runners got their break. Slow it way down. It's a short clip. Let's see when the runners got their break.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 4, Carson Eaton.
So that ball's in flight. The runner at third is headed home. Tough to tell because I can't track the ball well from my perspective, but maybe you saw it better than I did.
So obviously we saw the runner at third come home, but the runners at second and first, they were very confused. They didn't know what to do. And now I get it at first base, because if that play is made, that's a double play ball no matter what. You can easily make the play at first base if the runners go into second.
Yeah.
So they couldn't tell from their perspective where that ball was. It was a tough play, but thankfully for Molloy, in their case, only 1 run came in, but a lot more damage could have been done in that inning from CSI.
I think the point is the only runner who should have been tagging was the runner over at third. Everyone else should have been at least, or I should say the runner at second should be at least halfway, because it would have been a decently long throw falling away from the play to record the out.
Number 29, Marissa Nicoletti.
So Carson Eaton is retired very quickly for the second out, and Marissa Nicoletti is the batter. And Nicoletti takes ball 1.
Nicoletti looking to drive in her 5th RBI of the season, so a big chance, great opportunity. And not only would it drive home a run, it would tie the game.
And that pitch is by Nicoletti for strike 2. A big swing there.
Miramontes has come out of the pen, and she has looked very strong early on, coming in for Kelsey Strayer.
We had a pinch runner that I did not hear announced, so
that's number 2.
I missed that as I'm taking a look right now at the play-by-play to get that information. And we signal over to the stats desk, and that information is passed along to us. So thank you to Lewis for that. So Spates is the pinch runner. We'll make that Ducharme the pinch runner as that ground out goes to first base. And Nicoletti is retired to bring the top half of the 5th to a close. Dolphins maintain a 1-run lead heading to the bottom half of inning number 5.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, where the Dolphins lead the Lions by a score of 4-3. For Molloy, 3 runs on 6 hits, 1 error. For the Dolphins, 4 runs on 6 hits and 1 error. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the College of Staten Island in the home 5th. McPherson, Moore, Aponte for the College of Staten Island.
And McPherson has had herself a day, has driven in 3 of those 4 CSI runs.
This next pitch, number 73 for Courtney Green, and that's in for a called strike 1 to McPherson. You said it, Nick, 3 RBIs for McPherson. Doubled her first time, singled in her second at-bat. Chance here to make it a 3-for-3 afternoon. And the 0-1 from Green misses out of the zone.
And if you're Green, you want to get a quick 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Comes the 1-1, and that's down in the dirt for ball 2. Two balls and 1 strike to count on the Dolphins' third baseman. And the pitch from Green is up high for ball 3.
And Green trying to pitch around McPherson because of how she's done well today, and now a 3-1 count.
In the game, Green has issued just 1 walk, hit a batter as well. Her 3-1 pitch on its way, and that's downstairs for ball 4.
McPherson now on base for the 3rd time today, and the Dolphins will try to add on to their lead.
McPherson on to lead off the bottom half of the 5th, and that will bring Elizabeth Moore to the plate.
Elizabeth Moore.
Moore is 0 for 2. Has flown out and struck out. She shows bunt, and that is bunted foul. So you're asking your cleanup hitter to bunt here. That's an interesting decision.
You said it, Joe. It's a very interesting decision there with your cleanup hitter batting. A bunt with the Ponte on deck.
We saw Moore with a walk-off base hit and a 4-for-4 effort earlier this year. And she lines one into shallow right field. That gets by King and rolls all the way to the fence. Here comes McPherson. Moore is headed for 3rd, and she is in with an RBI base hit. And the Dolphins have extended their lead to 2 runs. Our score is now 5-3.
Well, you saw it there, Joe. It's just, not only was it a single, it was a bad play in right field that it could have easily been 1st and 2nd for the Dolphins, but because of the error, it's going to bring home a run. So now the Dolphins have a 5-3 lead.
How about that for a first pitch bunt attempt as Moore very quickly capitalizes on that chance. That's a foul ball. That's a very costly 2-base error in right field by Amanda King.
And I wonder if King had a bad bounce to it when it happened.
Oh, it certainly had a bad bounce. The problem is she didn't have a chance to make the catch and charge too hard. We saw Carcano do the same thing in center field.
Correct.
She had a chance to make the catch, charged too hard, and the ball hit off of her glove. But how many times have we seen that this year, Nick, where the ball is hit into the outfield and then it skips over the glove of either the left fielder or the right fielder. Typically, it's that right field corner, really a big problem area.
You know, we're going to have to put like a big X mark in that right field as danger awaits usually when the ball is hit there. But if you're CSI, you're not going to complain. Ground ball to third base, strong look and throw, and a big first out for the Lions right there.
Well, that will not get the run in. An unproductive out for Layla Aponte, and Isabel Gallo will get a chance with a runner on third and one away.
And that's another play by Nicoletti. She did the same thing earlier on where she looked at the runner before throwing the ball. So a heads-up play by her. Big first out for Molloy as they try to keep this a 2-run score.
Nicoletti's played a very good third base in this game, has managed the runners very well. Strong, accurate throws over to first, had that 5-2-3 double play, and she gets a glove on that one, but it sneaks through for a base hit, and the Dolphins have extended their lead to 3 runs. Our score is now 6-3.
And you said Nicoletti had some leather on that play, but unfortunately it got past her, and there was going to be no play at short. And now the Dolphins have a 6-3 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, that was a great effort at third by Nicoletti. Got a glove on it. I didn't catch if Moore was running on contact. If Moore was going on contact, there's no way she wasn't scoring. But if that ball was kept on the infield and Moore wasn't running on contact, then she probably would have had to hold it third. Let's take a look at the replay. Moore's not going on contact. She held up.
That was a good job, heads-up play by Moore. She waited to see what happened. And once it hit off of Nicoletti's glove, she was starting to run. So heads-up base running by the Dolphins, and it helps them get another run in.
Carcano tried to lay down a bunt on the first pitch, is behind 0-1, and she pops one up to third where Nicoletti makes the catch for the second out.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 26, Victoria Whalen.
And Victoria Whalen will be the batter. Whalen's 0-for-1, has grounded out and walked in 2 plate appearances.
But to Whalen's credit, she has forced a lot of pitches in her at-bats. She's been a very tough out.
She definitely has. Again, my pitch count is unofficial. I have Green somewhere in the ballpark of about 90 pitches in this game. Probably just about to throw number 90 on this pitch, if not the next one.
And that was one of my keys at the game earlier on. I said if CSI can force some pitches and get to their counts and get the pitch that they want, they're going to be able to get on top. And that's where they started. They were able to jump out to a 2-0 lead. Now have a 6-3 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning as they force Courtney Green to throw a lot of pitches.
I was going to say, Nick, credit to you. It appears you were right on the money with that assessment. The innings where the Dolphins have forced Green to throw a lot of pitches per at-bat, those are the innings where the Dolphins have had their most success at the plate.
And Whalen now, she's been able to force the count full the first 2 times she's been up. So from 0-2, can she do it again or maybe even get on base, get a single, and keep the inning going for the Dolphins?
1 ball and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins' right fielder, and she looks at that pitch in the dirt for ball 2.
The plate discipline has been unbelievable by the Dolphins. They have forced Green to throw so many pitches, and they have not chased anything. They've done a great job today.
They haven't given away outs, and that's a key every time. Don't chase pitches well out of the zone. Don't give away outs on the bases. And Whalen looks at a called strike 3 on the outside corner. So Whalen is set down looking. The Lions do strand 1 runner on, but not before the Dolphins add 2 more. Their lead is now 3. Our score, Staten Island 6, Molloy 3 through 5.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us.
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we're back on CSI Sportsnet. The Dolphins lead the Lions by a score of 6-3, entering the top half of the sixth inning. 2 for the Dolphins in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. Nick, we spoke about it a bit during the last half inning. What have you seen from the Dolphins at the plate in this game that has allowed them to score now in 4 out of 5 innings?
Just their plate discipline all day has been unbelievable. They forced so many pitches for Courtney Green. I believe we had a pitch count of 92 after that last inning. So 92 pitches through 5 innings. You can't ask anything better for your offense. They have forced so many, earlier on in the game, they had a 2-0 count on the first 3 batters that led to the 2 runs. Courtney Green has gotten a couple first pitch strikes since then, but CSI has been able to get some walks. They have 8 hits on the day as well, and have also taken advantage of 2 errors by the Lions.
For the Lions in this half inning, it will be 7, 8, and 9. Cepeda, Conrad, and King do up for Molloy College as the first pitch of the inning misses for ball 1.
This is a big turning point for Molloy. They got to get back in this game, but Miramontes, since coming out of the pen for Strayer, has been very, very good so far.
This is a big inning for Miramontes in the circle. Bottom third of the order. These are 3 outs you have to get. Send your team into the final inning leading by at least 3. As that's grounded to the right side, and Acosta has it. She steps on the bag, and there's 1 away in the top half of the 6th.
That's been another credit to CSI. Other than that one mistimed fly ball, CSI's had some great defensive plays in the field today. That is a big reason why they are on top right now.
So Steph Conrad will be the batter. She's 1 for 2, has singled and lined out. Both of those hit to the left side, right at Elizabeth Moore over at shortstop.
And CSI has the infield in once again on this play.
Well, Moore has to be on her toes right here as Conrad takes ball 1. Miramontes is ready. Here comes the 1-0. And there's a half swing by Conrad. She went around, and I think that pitch was a called strike anyway.
Yeah, just the way she was in the batter's box, I mean, there's no need to look over for the other umpire and see if it was a strike or not. It was definitely a strike from here.
1-1 the count on the Lions center fielder. And I think she got a piece of that pitch.
If she did, it was barely.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
There's only one person in the building with a better perspective than us on that, and it's the umpire. Perhaps Isabel Gallo as well, the catcher.
True. Gallo was heads up just in case, so that's safe fair.
And the 1-2 pitch misses up high. 2-2 the count. Amanda King waits on deck. And the 2-2 pitch is chopped over to Elizabeth Moore. And she wasted no time on that throw as she guns that over to first to throw out Conrad for out number 2.
Joe, you said it. Elizabeth Moore needed to stay on her toes, and that's exactly what she did on that play. Went to her, made a strong throw to first base. And again, another good defensive play for the CSI Dolphins.
2 away now in the 6th. And Amanda King is the batter. She's 1 for 2, has reached on an error and singled. Has hit the ball very hard twice. Both times right back through the middle, once in the air and once on the ground.
King definitely wants to correct herself for the big error she had that cost Molloy a run.
And the 0-1 misses up and away. I'm sure King was hoping for a chance with a runner or 2 on base. Instead, Miramontes has a chance for a 1-2-3 inning. I spoke about how big that would be just a couple of minutes ago, as Miramontes is now 1 strike away from the 3rd out.
She's all business coming out of the pen. You can't ask nothing more out of your reliever to get you out of a jam. Strayer was struggling, but Miramontes has come in, and she has been on the money.
And the 1-2 misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs in the road 6th. Dolphins looking to maintain a 3-run lead. And that's it well out to deep left field. Carry-on back into the corner, and she makes the catch right along the chalk for the 3rd out of the inning. So for the 3rd time, Amanda King hits the ball hard. This time, it finds the glove of the Dolphins left fielder, and heading to the bottom of the 6th, CSI maintains a 3-run advantage.
Car is damaged. Where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4890.
And we are back on the ECC network. The Dolphins looking to pick up some insurance here in the 6th, as they are 3 outs away from a victory over their conference rival, Molloy College. And we mentioned it at the top of the show, Nick. The Dolphins 1-9 in conference play, looking for their 2nd win against the ECC, and they're 3 outs away from that right now.
Well, I don't want to bring up,
let's not. I'll stop you right
from yesterday,
there.
But that's all I'm going to say. If viewers saw yesterday's game, that's all I'm going to say. But to your credit, you're right. CSI's played a well-fought-out game. They pitched very good. Strider did her job. Maria Montes has come out of the pen and has done her job as well. And now they have a 6-3 lead. There is a leadoff single.
Well, I said it earlier, Nick. I did not have one line on my spray chart that indicated Jessica Carrion has hit the ball to the outfield. That has just changed as she lines a single back through the middle and into center field for a leadoff base hit.
Going to have to update that immediately. Carrion with a nice single up the middle. And again, CSI with a leadoff base runner, so a chance to add some more runs on before the 7th inning.
I think the Lions are expecting a bunt. I'm expecting a bunt, and we will see if Jacqueline Cateridge is asked to lay one down. And she swings at the first pitch and misses for strike 1, so no bunt on the first pitch.
Cateridge has gone on a couple times, and she's been a very big force at the plate for CSI today. So with Anissa Acosta on deck and then Samantha McPherson right after, I mean, this is a big opportunity for Molloy. They got to get some outs right now before those 2 or 3 hitters come up.
Cateridge has been on base 3 times. Single, hit by pitch, single.
There it is, Joe.
And now she squares up and fouls it back. I like that. You give her one swing and then ask her to bunt. But now, assuming she doesn't bunt again, she only got one chance to lay it down. And
well, certainly you would have bunt with 2 strikes. Cannot bunt with 2 strikes.
I don't think so, but I have seen it before. Don't think we will here, though.
It's a gutsy play if they do.
I don't think they will. And the 0-2 is up and away for ball 1. You said it, Anissa Acosta is on deck, followed by Samantha McPherson. Both have base hits in this game.
And McPherson with 3 RBIs.
McPherson's been on base 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. Here comes the 1-2 to Cateridge, and that's in the dirt for ball 2.
And if you're Courtney Green, you do not want to lose the count here. Chance for Cateridge to make it 3-2 count. But Courtney Green is getting up there in pitches. She wants to get this big first out right there.
Well, Carrion didn't give me much time with that single, but we had 2 defensive changes for the Lions as that 2-2 pitch has popped up on the infield, and new first baseman Amanda King cannot get there. She comes in from right field, and Emma Bachman will take over in right for the Lions. So those are the 2 changes. King to first from right, and Bachman slides into King's spot out in right field.
King almost made a nice diving play down the first base line near the dugout, but stays foul, and CSI with another opportunity right here.
Good effort by King as Cateridge will see another 2-2 pitch. Here it comes from Green. And that's lined to short, played on the hop. They go to second for one, and Cateridge beats the throw to first.
Great heads-up play right there by Chessie Hoon as she gets a big first out, but they could not turn the double play. So another runner on first, one out, and the dangerous Anissa Acosta is up to the plate.
Well, not to be lost on that play. That was a great read by Carrion because it was not clear that ball was going to hit the ground. And Acosta takes a called strike, but that ball was fielded on a hop by Hune. And I wasn't sure that she was going to play that off the ground. I thought she might catch that on a line, but Carrion read it correctly immediately.
And I thought Hune was going to go to first base of the play, as there's a liner into left. That's a base hit for Anissa Acosta.
Nothing new there as Acosta is on with a single. That moves Cateridge into scoring position. And Samantha McPherson comes to the plate once again with two runners on.
And we saw what happened in the first inning, which she had first and second. She ripped that double into left center field, got two runs in. Can she do it again and get some insurance runs for the Dolphins?
This inning belongs to Courtney Green. There is no action in the Molloy bullpen. McPherson has been seeing Green well in this game, and Green misses with that first pitch for ball one.
And remember, McPherson got that two-run double. She had a 2-0 count. So if you're Green, you do not want to be in that situation again.
Dolphins would love to get some insurance here. They now have 10 hits in the game. And McPherson hits it hard right back up the middle for a base hit. Cateridge is being held at third, and that's a good decision by Tracy Garofalo as the bases are now loaded with Dolphins. One away in the inning. That is CSI's 11th hit of the game. McPherson's third. And coming to the plate is Elizabeth Moore.
Man, McPherson has been such a tough at-bat for Molloy today. You said it, Joe. 3 hits, a walk. She's been off base 4 times. And now a chance for more. Bases loaded, 1 out. CSI was not able to really take advantage as much the last time they had bases loaded. Can they do it right here?
Season high for the Dolphins in hits is 16. That came during their Florida trip. They also had a 13-hit game and an 11-hit game. The 13-hit game came in a win against Nyack. The 11-hit game also came on the Florida trip. So they've matched that 11-hit game. Can surpass it right here as Moore fouls that pitch straight back. Oh, 2 the count on the Dolphins shortstop. Huge pitch up coming here for Green.
Green needs a strike 3 right here. Let's see what happens. Will she throw the off speed?
Moore singled her last time up, looking for her second base hit, and she takes outside for ball 1. Cateridge the runner at third, Acosta over at second, and McPherson at first. Green gets the signs from her dugout. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And the off-speed pitch is lined into right center field for a base hit. Cateridge is in. Here comes Acosta. Throw to the plate offline. McPherson heads to third, and she slides in safely. It's an RBI single for Elizabeth Moore. 2 runs come in to score, and the Dolphins lead it 8-3.
Man, this 2-3-4 for the Dolphins has been deadly today for the Lions, as they get a big 2-run single from Elizabeth Moore. And a heads-up play on McPherson. She's been all over it today. Defense, offense, and now base running. She gets from first to third, and now things are getting unraveling for Courtney Green. I think we might be having a pitching change.
And Nick, the bullpen, it appears right now, is not in condition to be used. We have a lot of mud in the dugouts. It's gotten pretty bad with all the rainfall we've had. So I think there may have been a Lions pitcher warming up behind the dugout out of our view. Though I don't see anybody heading out from that area now, so we may not have a pitching change here. We'll see. Right now, a conference in the circle for Molloy as the Dolphins have extended their lead to 5 runs. They now have 12 hits in the game.
And you can see why people like Acosta, McPherson, and Moore have batting averages the way they do. They've been very great hitters all season. They continue it today. They've been very, 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 very hurtful for this Lions defense. Courtney Green has been not really been able to get them out as much. And I think we are having the pitcher change, Joe.
Well, from here, it looks like the pitcher just came jogging out of right field.
It's number 8.
That's Natalie Musa, who will be the new pitcher for the Lions. So Susan Cassidy-Like goes to her bullpen with 1 out in the 7th, and that pitch from Musa skips straight to the backstop on her first warm-up toss.
Musa's stats on the year, she's 0-1 with an ERA of 15.26. She's been used, and this is her 8th appearance of the year. She's given up 13 earned runs, 13 walks, and through 7 2/3 of innings. So she hasn't been really used as much this season, with also a 4.30 whip. So now she comes in a situation where it's 1st and 3rd, only 1 out. It's 8-3 Dolphins. So if you are Natalie Musa, you want to get out of this jam. CSI, though, will try to take advantage of the limited work by Musa and try to keep this lead going.
Well, I think the most encouraging aspect of this situation for the Dolphins right now is that Musa is clearly the Lions' 3rd pitcher looking at the stats. The Dolphins have handled Molloy's best pitcher in this game, 8 runs, 12 hits against Courtney Green. Now, in Game 2, we would expect to see the Dolphins' top pitcher, Anissa Acosta. That puts CSI in a good position to win that game, as they have been able to stay away from using Acosta here in Game 1. They now have her available to them in Game 2, and in all likelihood, we'll see Amanda King in the circle for the Lions. She is their clear-cut number 2 pitcher. So an interesting situation set up for Game 2, where the Dolphins will have their number 1 going up against the Lions' number 2.
It's going to be tough for Molloy, because how long is Amanda King going to have to pitch in that game? If you're using a reliever now, it's going to be tough for her. She's going to need to pitch very, very well in that second game in order for Molloy to have a chance.
And this Dolphins lineup got some great swings against Green. They get their first look at a new pitcher, Natalie Musa, in the circle for the Lions. She inherits 2 base runners with 1 away in the 7th. And I mentioned she skipped in her first warm-up pitch. That one skipped in, and no one paid attention to Elizabeth Moore over at first base.
And we saw earlier where that bunt by Carry-On, it's been bad defense as of late. And we said earlier that both teams were having a great defensive day. We might have jinxed Molloy, because it's just been bad since then. No one was covering. They weren't paying attention. And Musa threw a pitch in the dirt. We saw it during her warm-up. She was having trouble making good pitches. There's a strike there.
Well, speaking of a jinx, I spoke to him about it on the air last night. Our colleague Nick Durst has not called a Dolphins victory this year, and it just so happens that they've won a game, or at least one game, every broadcast he's missed. That's hit sharply on the ground to first, and they go home with it. That was the wrong decision there, as a brief hesitation by King over at first cost her the play. It was a great throw, but a good slide by McPherson. She's in safely, and the Dolphins now lead it by 6.
Again, Joe, another bad defensive play by Molloy. I mean, you had to play at first base, but it's a heads-up play by McPherson. She forced the throw at home, and it forced Amanda King to go home when she didn't really have to, even though you want to keep the lead where it was. But now it's 9-3, and no outs were recorded on that play, so bad break for Molloy.
So Aponte is on via the fielder's choice as she is running, and once again, they didn't pay much attention to the runner over at first. It's another stolen base.
And the base running today for CSI has been very, very good. They have just been on the money. Molloy has been caught off guard so many times, and now 2nd and 3rd, only 1 out. You don't have the double play ball anymore.
Aponte is the winning run at second as Gallo takes down and in for ball 2, but that was a great pitch to throw on that first pitch, a high fastball, and Aponte took off seemingly well after the pitch was received. They just didn't pay any attention to her.
Just been stagnant defense these last couple innings from Molloy.
And Gallo takes a called strike. I'll have to take a look at CSI's schedule. I do not believe that they have won a game on the mercy rule this year. I'm almost certain they haven't.
I think you're right, Joe. I do not think they do.
And they certainly have not. And Gallo may have just done it right there, as that's down the right field line into the corner, and Aponte will come in to score the winning run as Isabel Gallo slides into third base with a 2 RBI triple. The Dolphins win it as CSI swarms Gallo from the third base dugout. They are hyped up after an 8-run win over the Molloy College Lions. Our final score, CSI 11 and Molloy 3.
A very unconventional walk-off. No one really expects it on when you're up by 8 runs, but with the Mercy rule intact, that's how this game ends. And again, credit to CSI, 14 hits today, 11-3 final. They took advantage of the 2 errors also, and heads-up pitching. Strayer did her job as well. Miramontes, though, credit to her coming out of the bullpen. She did a fantastic job. No damage at all. And a tough break for Courtney Green. Just did not have the stuff today. And credit to CSI. They got to Molloy's best pitcher. Now, it's going to be interesting, as you said, Joe. What does Molloy do in the second game when now just Amanda King starting? Do you go back to Musa out of the bullpen just in case?
Well, if they do need relief in Game 2, it must not be going well because they left Green in there for quite some time, and that's to be expected. She is option 1A and King is option 1B for the Lions. So unsurprising that Green was in there in that final inning. But for the Dolphins, that goes down as perhaps their best offensive performance of the season. They score a season-high 11 runs. The hit total of 14 is good for their second-best performance in that department this season. And for the College of Staten Island, they pick up the win via the Mercy Rule by 8 runs. Our final score, 11-3. And for CSI, that win improves them to 6-15, 2-9 in conference play. And for the Lions, a bit of a disappointing loss against a Dolphins team that I think they expected to beat.
And especially after the way CSI played yesterday, they had 2 bad, brutal losses to Bridgeport. But, as I said earlier, Molloy had a couple of days off. They were supposed to play on Thursday. They had the double rain out. They haven't played since Tuesday, so you have to wonder, does that rust get to them? And certainly in Game 1, it looked like it got to them. 14 hits for the Dolphins. The Lions really didn't have any other offense other than that third inning that they had. So credit to CSI. They took advantage of the delays for Molloy, and they jumped on top, and they never looked back.
And for the Dolphins, this doubleheader is their second doubleheader in 3 days. Of course, they played on the road at Bridgeport yesterday, hosting Molloy today. They host Uville tomorrow, so a lot of softball over this weekend for the College of Staten Island, and they greet their fans here at home with a victory, 11-3 over conference rival Molloy in 6 innings. So until the start of Game 2, which we anticipate will be in approximately 20 to 30 minutes, this has been Joe Foreman alongside my broadcast partner Nick Bavona. For Game 2, I am joined by Andrew Rotundo on the call, and when you hear the sound of my voice, we are back for more East Coast Conference softball here on the ECC Network. Be sure to stay tuned right here at this stream for that broadcast. And again, when you hear my voice, we are back for Game 2 between CSI and Molloy. From the CSI Softball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents Game 2 of today's East Coast Conference softball coverage between the College of Staten Island and Molloy College. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call, this time alongside my broadcast partner, Andrew Rotundo.
Yeah, Joe, the first game, that was a lot. 14 hits for the Dolphins. You know, that coming off a few big losses in the last few weeks. Not carrying that into today, definitely. 11 runs on 14 hits, and they're looking to repeat that performance in this second game.
Certainly a positive sign for the Dolphins as the bats came alive in Game 1. CSI with their second highest hit total of the season, 14 base hits for the College of Staten Island. And Nick and I spoke about it during Game 1. The Dolphins get their top option in the circle out there on the rubber for Game 2. Anissa Acosta, the starting pitcher for the College of Staten Island. And after this next pitch, I'll give you the lineup she will face for the Molloy College Lions. One ball and one strike the count on Chrissy Hune, and that ball is topped foul. The rest of the lineup for Molloy, batting second is Alex Burns, batting third, Courtney Green. In the cleanup spot, Elena Spates, batting fifth, Amanda King. Batting sixth, Carson Eaton. Batting seventh, Marissa Nicoletti. Batting eighth, Steph Conrad. And batting ninth, Emma Bachman. As that's it on the ground to short, Moore mishandled it for a moment, but she recovers to throw out Hune for the first out.
And a scorcher on the ground, but no problem for the Dolphins. They get right over to first base and a quick first out of the inning.
That will bring Alex Burns to the plate, but while we have a moment, I'll try and get you the numbers for Anissa Acosta in the circle this season. We'll have to wait just one more pitch for that. And Acosta delivers to Burns, and that's swung on and missed. A good off-speed pitch from Acosta for strike one. Anissa comes in having appeared in 9 games, including 3 starts. She does have 1 complete game, 3 wins and 5 losses. She's pitched to a 3.43 ERA with a whip of 1.93. As that pitch misses inside for ball 1 to Burns. Acosta's thrown 32 2/3 innings. That's good for third on this Dolphins pitching staff. She's allowed 40 hits, 20 runs, 16 of those earned. She's walked 23 and struck out 19. Opposing batters are hitting at 292 against her in 137 at-bats. As that one's grounded toward the hole and through into left field for a base hit. And Alex Burns is on with a 1-out single.
First baseman, number 10, Courtney.
And Courtney Green will be the batter. Green was Game 1 starting pitcher. The Dolphins ultimately chased her in the 6th inning. Dolphins won Game 1 by a final score of 11-3. The mercy rule was invoked. First time CSI has won in that fashion this season. Green, a left-handed batter. Burns the runner over at first. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's off the outside corner for ball 2.
And another fresh arm in this game for the Dolphins, Joe. Let's see if it pays off for them.
We spoke about it during Game 1. Acosta, the Dolphins' top option in the circle, as that flip is off the glove of Moore and into center field. And everyone is safe. A tough break there for the Dolphins, who commit their first error early.
Yeah, and just trying to make that easy play at second, that flip. And it just goes off the tip of the glove and over and into the outfield. And now Molloy with 2 runners on and still only 1 out in the inning.
One out, now 2 on for the Lions. And the cleanup hitter, Elena Spates, will be the batter. And Spates takes up high for ball 1. And the 1-0 is hit on the ground to short. Another chance for the Dolphins infield, and Moore goes the short way to force out the lead runner at third.
And Moore goes for the easy play there at third. They were going to try and get that second out at first, it looked like, but they just took that easy out at third.
Definitely a chance to turn 2 there, but Moore made the safe play. And that will bring Amanda King to the plate. First pitch from Acosta to King is in for a called strike 1. King will be Acosta's counterpart in the circle for the Lions. She gets the start, as we suspected, in Game 2 of today's doubleheader. And the 0-1 misses outside for ball 1.
It's going to be interesting to see how Acosta gets herself out of this. 2 runners on and 2 runners out.
This next pitch will be number 15 for the Dolphins right-hander. And that's hit up in the air on the infield. Acosta settles underneath it and makes the catch in foul territory for the 3rd out. 1 hit in the inning for the Lions. They strand a pair. The Dolphins also commit an error. No score heading to the bottom half of the 1st inning.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex where there is no score heading to the bottom half of the first inning. Amanda King takes the rubber for Molloy College here in Game 2. And very quickly, I'll get the numbers for King on the season in the circle. She has appeared in 13 games, including 12 starts. She has 10 complete games, a record of 4 wins and 8 losses. She has an ERA of 6.6 and a whip of 175. In 73 and 2/3 innings, she's allowed 101 hits, 66 runs, 54 of those earned. She's walked 28 and struck out 43. 308 opposing batters are hitting at .328 against her. And in just a moment, I'll give you the lineup she will face for the College of Staten Island, as once again, Jacqueline Cateridge leads things off for CSI, and she offers at the first pitch and grounds it through the right side for a base hit. What a day Cateridge has had at the plate.
And that goes right by the glove over at first base, and ambush tactics for the Dolphins to start this one off as they get right on base with their leadoff batter.
Cateridge did a great job in Game 1. She got on base, I believe, 4 times. And Anissa Acosta will be the batter. The Dolphins pitcher with a chance to help her own cause early, as I'll have the rest of the CSI lineup after this pitch. And that's popped up on the infield, and Conrad calls off for shortstop Hune and makes the catch for the first out. So the rest of the Dolphins lineup, batting third will be Samantha McPherson. In the cleanup spot is Elizabeth Moore. Batting fifth is Mariah Carcano. Batting sixth is Victoria Whalen. Batting seventh is Avery Mockery. Batting eighth is Claudia Porcaro. And batting ninth is Layla Aponte. And McPherson takes a called strike one. McPherson had a monster game in Game 1. 3 RBIs for the Dolphins. An incredibly tough out. Single, double, drew a walk.
And a real tough out for Molloy. Let's see if she has a repeat performance in Game 2. And be very beneficial for the Dolphins.
McPherson's quickly in a 2-strike hole right here. Cateridge, the runner over at first, singled on Amanda King's first pitch of the game. And now King is ahead of McPherson. No balls and 2 strikes. And that's hit through the middle for a base hit. Cateridge will stop at second. And Samantha McPherson has yet another base hit as she is on with a 1-out single.
And McPherson keeps on rolling. Another base hit here in her first at-bat in Game 2. And the Dolphins are in business with runners at first and second, only 1 out in the inning. And let's see if they can get some early scoring here in this one, opening up the score.
Elizabeth Moore will look to get CSI on the board as the Dolphins already have 2 base hits in the game. I mentioned it before, 14 hits for the Dolphins in Game 1. That total their second best of the season. Their 11 runs scored is a season high. And the pitch to Moore misses down and in for ball 1. This Lions pitching staff came in with a 5.75 ERA, so not a team that's accustomed to giving up 11 runs. However, opponents have pitched to a 4.23 ERA against them as Moore swings through that pitch for strike 1.
I'm not sure if you spoke with Nick about it in the first game, but if you notice, Molloy has a very short list of pitchers on their roster.
We did reference that at one point when the Lions went to the bullpen. Just 3 pitchers who have logged innings as Moore grounds one off the glove of a diving Hune. Cateridge never stopped. She's heading home, and she slides in safely with the first Dolphins run. McPherson moves up 1 base to second. And Liz Moore drives in the first run of the game with an RBI single to give her team a 1-0 lead.
And beautifully done by Moore. Hit that right up the middle, off the glove of the second baseman. And a runner's going to score around third. Good play by the Dolphins to open the scoring early.
And the great Dolphins base running continues as Cateridge never slowed up. Immediately took the turn and headed home as Mariah Carcano lays down a bunt. And Nicoletti made that play look easy over at third. She's had a good day in the field as Carcano is retired for the second out.
And just trying to go with the simple play. And at least she gets the runners up to second and third, so a base hit could score 2 more for the Dolphins here from Gallo.
Well, my favorite kind of discussion, Andrew, a scoring discussion. Do you give that a sacrifice bunt?
I wouldn't. I
wouldn't either, and I did not.
Good.
Well, a sacrifice bunt is a sacrifice bunt if your intention is solely to advance the runner. So if a pitcher lays down a bunt to advance a batter on base, that's a sacrifice bunt. A run doesn't need to score. But in that situation, I think Carcano was bunting for a hit. The sacrifice was a secondary objective, so I gave that an out on a 5-3 no sacrifice. As Isabel Gallo is the batter, the count is even on the Dolphins catcher at 1 ball and 1 strike. Comes the 1-1 pitch, and that's hit in the air out to center field, and Conrad has it for the third out of the inning. The Dolphins strand a pair, but they have 3 base hits in the opening inning. They score 1 run, and CSI once again has an early lead. They lead Molloy after 1 inning by a score of 1-0.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
And we are back from the CSI Softball Complex. Joe Foreman rejoining you alongside Andrew Rotundo. And once again, the Dolphins have jumped out to an early lead as CSI plates the game's first run in the opening inning behind 3 base hits. And Dolphins lead 1-0 at the start of inning number 2. It will be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Lions in the road second. Eaton, Nicoletti, and Conrad.
Great opening inning there from the Dolphins, giving up just that 1 hit.
There's a big swing by Eaton, and she came up empty for strike 1. Dolphins bats have certainly come alive today. Had a rough time yesterday at Bridgeport, but have turned things around today against another conference opponent in Molloy.
You said it, Joe. 11 runs on 14 hits in 6 innings in that first game, and now already up 1-0 through 1 inning of this one. And their scoring just doesn't seem to slow down today.
As I mentioned during Game 1, this doubleheader, the second ECC doubleheader in 3 days for this Dolphins team as Carrion makes that catch along the left field line for the first out.
The third baseman, number 29, Marissa Nicoletti.
We've had some light rain on and off as the rain begins again. But the skies over the CSI softball complex mostly clear. Blue skies all around as that's chopped over to third. Backhanded by McPherson. Her throw on target for the second out.
And great play by McPherson, reaching over and grabbing that, and the long toss down to first. And that's a great play to get the second out of the inning.
Nick and I spoke about it during Game 1, and I'm seeing it here in Game 2 as well. One of the biggest differences between these two teams today, the Dolphins have had a lot of long at-bats where they've run deep counts and really made Molloy pitching work. It hasn't been so for the Lions. A lot of quick outs where the Dolphins pitching put together very quick innings so far. The Dolphins pitching consisting of Strayer, Acosta, and Miramontes, but they've had a lot of innings where they haven't had to work very hard in the circle.
Yeah,
the 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2.
Yeah, Joe, and it just seems like it's been ambush tactics all day for the Lions. Quick at-bats, like you said, just, swinging at almost everything, and it really hasn't worked out much for them.
Well, Conrad's been one exception. She got on twice in Game 1 with a couple of weakly hit balls to the left side, as that one misses for ball 3. (3-0) the count on the Lions center fielder. And that finds the inside corner for a called strike as Acosta keeps her hopes of a 1-2-3 inning alive.
And this is the count you want if you're Conrad, if you're trying to keep the inning going at 3-1 here.
And the 3-1 pitch is chopped foul. So Acosta works her way back into the at-bat. Count is now full. Left-handed Conrad showed off her speed during Game 1. One of those softly hit balls to the left side. She beat out for an infield single. Comes the 3-2 pitch, and that's up high for ball 4. So the Lions get a speedy base runner on with 2 outs in the second, and Emma Bachman will be the batter.
And Acosta was so close to getting out of the side and ends up walking Conrad. And so the inning will continue for the Lions. And let's see if Bachman, who only had 1 at-bat in that first game, let's see if she gets on here.
Did she get an at-bat?
She did.
She did. Okay.
As a pinch hitter.
Runner is going from first. Throw to second is high. And I mentioned the speed of Conrad, and she's in easily with a stolen base.
And the word easy, as she gets right in there, no problem.
That puts the tying run in scoring position, and Bachman was a late substitution in Game 1. Came in for Amanda King in right field. King moved over to first base, and that pitch misses for ball 2. This is definitely the out Acosta wants to get, as from here it's back to the top of the order.
Especially with that quick runner of Conrad at second base as well.
Comes the 2-0 pitch, and that finds the zone for a called strike 1 as Bachman continues to show bunt. Another left-handed bat in this Molloy lineup. They have quite a few left-handers. And the 2-1 misses for ball 3.
And Acosta's got to watch it here as Bachman's in a really good position. 3-1 with a runner at second.
Something I noted on my stat sheet ahead of the game, Acosta has struggled with the base on balls. 23 walks in 32 2/3. That walk total leads this Dolphins team, though Acosta is only 3rd in innings pitched, and it's not close in terms of the walks. She has 8 more walks than her next closest teammate. So at times, her control has eluded her this season. She has another full count here. Here comes the payoff pitch, and that's lined into center field for a base hit. Fielded on a hop in center by Carcano. Throw to the plate in time, and we have a collision. What a play by Isabel Gallo. Somehow Gallo held on to the ball. She applies the tag. Conrad is out. She is shaken up, and the Dolphins escape with the lead in the second inning.
What a play, Joe, and what a collision at home plate. As the catcher gets up, seems okay, walking back to the dugout, but great play by the Dolphins all in all.
Conrad took the worst of it, and that is as violent a collision as I have ever seen here on the softball diamond, and I know you have that replay. We'll get another look at it if you have it ready for us, but I have never seen a collision that violent during a softball game. As a baseball, I've never even seen a play at the plate like that one. I'm not sure I've seen a play at the plate from this close up in 6 years of covering Dolphin softball, but we'll get another look. What a throw from center field by Carcano as well.
Short.
As we'll try one more time to get a look at it. If we can't, we'll do so after the break. So heading into the bottom half of the second inning, the Dolphins maintain a one-run lead. Credit the outfield assist to Carcano, and a tremendous play by Gallo at the plate to apply the tag through the contact. We'll be right back with more East Coast Conference softball.
Yeah.
And we're back for the bottom half of the second inning. The Dolphins maintain a one-run lead, thanks in large part to a tremendous throw from out in center field by Mariah Carcano. And as emphatic a tag as you will see by Isabel Gallo, she endures a collision with Steph Conrad at the plate. And credit to Conrad, she's back out there in center field, but that's as violent a play as I've ever seen here on the softball diamond.
Yeah, and that was right in front of us, Joe, and we saw every last bit of that. That was a tough collision. But Gallo comes away unscathed, as you said.
I don't know how she held on to that ball. Tremendous throw by Carcano. Great job by Gallo to hold on, and a great effort all around as Conrad was busting for the plate to try and tie the game on what was a hard-hit line drive single into center. For the Dolphins, it will be 7-8-9 in the second inning as Avery Mockery takes a called strike 2. Now, in between games, we got a chance to meet Avery's dad, Jeff, who had some very kind words for you and for me and for Nick here at the commentary desk in between the two games. He's a frequent viewer from California, getting a chance to watch his daughter play in person today, but he had a lot of nice words for us in the job we do here on the broadcast, so we always appreciate that.
100%, Joe. A pleasant surprise to the broadcast tent today.
Absolutely. Love to hear it. And we do this for the student athletes and their families first and foremost, so it's great to hear that they appreciate our efforts here on CSI Sportsnet. As Mockery fouls that pitch away over the Molloy dugout, and the count remains full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mockery did not play in Game 1, gets the start here in Game 2. She awaits another payoff pitch from Amanda King. And that's hit up in the air, foul once again beyond the Molloy dugout.
That CSI dugout keeping them alive today. A lot of loud chants.
This Dolphins team certainly an energetic bunch. A lot of noise coming from the dugout to our left as Mockery takes ball 4 and draws a leadoff walk.
And a great job by Mockery to battle with the pitcher and gets the walk. And now Dolphins with a runner, nobody out, and they are cooking here to start their side of the second.
And Claudia Porcaro will be the batter. Porcaro also did not start Game 1. Mockery, the runner, over at first, following the leadoff walk. And King's first pitch to Porcaro misses inside for ball one.
Let's see if another fresh arm in the lineup does some positive stuff for the Dolphins. And some new faces are in the lineup from that first game.
For Porcaro, this is her 14th start and her 16th appearance of the season. She comes in hitting at just .241, but her OPS is second on the team at .795. She has an on-base percentage of .450 and has drawn 11 walks. So she's been very patient at the plate, and she's ahead in the count here, 3-0.
And it looks like she has a great chance of getting on once again. And like you said, a lot of patience. Doesn't get many at-bats, but a lot of patience at that plate when she is at the plate.
Chance of ball four from the Dolphins dugout, and they get what they are asking for as that pitch skips in for ball four.
And another walk earned, that time from Porcaro. And the Dolphins now really in business with runners at first and second. Still nobody out in the inning, Joe.
And the Dolphins have not gone down easily more than once today. We've played now 7 full innings of softball between the two games. And this will be the 8th complete inning once we get through the second. The Dolphins have scored in 6 different innings already, looking to make it 7 out of 8, as that bunt by Layla Aponte rolls foul. I think it's safe to say this is the Dolphins' best offensive performance over the course of a doubleheader this year, and we're not even 2 innings into the second game yet.
Yeah, 11 runs on 14 hits in 6 full innings tells the story, Joe.
Here comes the 0-1. Aponte squares again and bunts it foul. So Aponte will likely be swinging here with a 2-strike count. From here, it's back to the top of the order. Jacqueline Cateridge, who's had a great day thus far, stands on deck. Here comes the 0-2 pitch from Amanda King. And that's it on the ground, right back to the circle. King goes to third for 1, and that's all they'll get, as Mockery is forced out for out number 1.
An interesting play going to third for the first out. Still nobody out in the inning, but they get it done. And Dolphins still have runners on at first and second with 1 out in the bottom of the second.
Jacqueline Cateridge will be the batter. 2 on, 1 away in the home second. And Jacqueline Cateridge looks to make it a 2-for-2 start to this game after a couple of hits in game 1. That's it over to third. Nicoletti steps on the bag for 1 and throws over to first to double off Cateridge for the 5-5-3 double play. And just like that, the Dolphins are turned aside in the second. Our score remains 1-0 heading to the third.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet, where the Dolphins were turned aside in the second inning, and CSI got that inning off to a great start, as that's hit on one hop to McPherson, and her throw is in time to retire Chrissy Hune for the first out of the third inning.
Yeah, you talked about the Dolphins getting turned aside in their side of the second, and it's a rare occasion today for the Lions to do that, as there's only been a few innings throughout the day so far that the Dolphins have not scored in.
Dolphins have scored in 6 of 8 innings, look poised to make it 7 of 8 in the previous half inning, but a great job in the circle by Amanda King to hold the Dolphins at bay and keep her team behind by just 1 run. Alex Burns is the batter. She comes to the plate 1 of 1. She's ahead in the count here, 1-0. And the pitch from Acosta is fouled away into the right field corner and out of play. Nick and I spoke about it during Game 1, how both teams were playing very solid defense for the majority of that game. Things seemed to get away from the Lions a bit late in Game 1, but the Dolphins continue to play stellar defense here this afternoon, despite the 1 error up on the scoreboard. A great throw by Carcano in the last inning, and Gallo completed the putout at the plate, enduring a collision to apply the tag.
Putting up the brick wall was Gallo.
That's a good way to describe it, as Gallo took quite the shot from Conrad on that collision at the plate. But point is, despite the error on the scoreboard and the 1 error they committed in Game 1, it's been a strong defensive effort from the Dolphins today. As the 2-1 pitch misses down and in for ball 3. So for Acosta, it's another 3-ball count.
And like we alluded to earlier, Acosta tends to walk a lot of batters, so she's going to need to bring it back here and compose herself and get a good pitch here.
And the 3-1 is chopped foul to the backstop, and the count is now full on the Lions left fielder. And not to be lost in these 2 games, where we've seen a lot of offense, the Dolphins have also shown tremendous base running. They've advanced the base whenever they've had the chance. They've always been aware of when the Lions aren't paying attention to runners on first, taking extra bases. Their reads have been pretty good on balls hit to the outfield, minus maybe 1 play in Game 1, but overall a great day on the base paths for CSI as well, as we have another chance for more at short, and she throws out Burns for out number 2.
And a quick 2 up, 2 down for the Lions. Once again, Dolphins keeping control of the Lions offense.
Courtney Green is the batter. She's 0 for 1, hit into a fielder's choice her first time up. Comes to the plate with the bases empty here in the third. And once again, Acosta misses with the first pitch. 39 pitches for the Dolphins starter, 18 balls and 21 strikes.
A lot of first pitch balls from Acosta.
And that's typically a recipe for trouble, but Acosta has only issued 1 walk, and she's allowed 2 base hits to this point. Worked her way around some danger in the first. She's behind here on Green, 2-0. And make it 3-0.
And once again, Acosta finds herself in a situation where she's got to work herself back in the count.
(3-0) the count on the Lions' first baseman, and Acosta's pitch is down and away for ball 4.
And so not so fast, Joe. The Lions get one on with their second earned walk, and they'll keep the inning going.
2 away in the top half of the third, and a chance with a runner on for Elena Spates, the Lions' cleanup hitter. She also hit into a fielder's choice her first time. And Acosta has now missed with 5 straight.
And she needs to start finding that zone, as that could be trouble, as Gallo's going to go out and have a word for a second.
Well, that's been the Achilles heel for Acosta this season. She's done just about everything well for the Dolphins in the circle and at the plate, with the exception of her command from time to time. I mentioned the 23 walks in about 36 innings entering today's game. Make that 32 2/3 innings to be exact. Comes the 1-0 to Spates, and that's hit hard on the ground through the left side for a base hit. Advancing to second is Green. She stops there, and it's a 2-out single for Elena Spates. And that will give the Lions a chance with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs. Coming to the plate is their pitcher, Amanda King.
And King has a chance to at least tie this game. There are 2 outs up on the board, but she has a runner in scoring position, and a base hit would definitely tie it.
And that's hit softly back to the circle, and Acosta makes quick work of King on 1 pitch for the final out of the inning. The Lions strand a pair, and they still trail by 1, heading to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And we're back on the ECC network as Anissa Acosta was able to deny the Lions in the top half of this 3rd inning. Her team comes to bat in the bottom half of inning number 3 with 2, 3, and 4 due up. And Acosta, the Dolphins pitcher, will lead things off in the home 3rd.
Yeah, and once again, the Lions were able to get a couple of runners on and extend the inning just a little bit with 2 outs in the inning. But Acosta, once again, comes out unscathed and finds her way out of the inning.
And Acosta goes after that first pitch and fouls it away. Acosta's 0 for 1, flew out in her first at-bat. Not a normal occurrence for us as it gets later in the day, but the weather is getting considerably warmer right now. We don't see that too often as Acosta fouls that pitch away.
Yeah, we've seen all kinds of weather changes today, from rain to sun to both. Doesn't seem to be affecting the Dolphins too much.
Not at all, as we had the heaviest rain in between games, fortunately for us. You may have seen our camera was covered in between game 1 and 2. Comes the 2-strike pitch to Acosta, and that's up and away for ball 1.
Yeah, good take by Acosta there to keep the at-bat alive, and she's battling here to open up the Dolphin side of the 3rd.
1 ball and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins pitcher as they await a softball from down in the right field corner. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from King. And Acosta gets under it again as that's sent foul beyond the Molloy dugout.
And that one was laid right in there for Acosta. She gets a piece, and that's it.
Acosta continues to battle behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. King delivers, and that pitch is downstairs for ball 2. 1 run on 3 hits for the Dolphins here in the bottom of the third. No runs on 3 hits for the Lions. Here comes the 2-2. That's chopped on the ground to third. Handled on the short hop by Nicoletti. And she continues to have a great day over at third base.
Yeah, locking it down over at third base. Nicoletti. And that's a quick first out. Or not a quick first out. Acosta had a good battle at the plate. But they get the out nonetheless.
Samantha McPherson will be the batter. She singled her first time up. I've spoken a lot today about the Dolphins' prowess at the plate, but CSI's pitching deserves credit as well. They've only given up 3 runs in 9 innings of work now. They'll certainly take that every time out across 2 games of a doubleheader. 1-0 the count on McPherson, and that pitch bounces and hits McPherson in the ankle.
Not something you see every day. Awful bounce. And nonetheless, she's going to take her walk to first base. And a little bit of a awkward occurrence there. Not something you see all the time.
Definitely not. And I have to admit, I wasn't aware until last season that if a ball bounced and hit you, that you were awarded first base. Because I had never seen it in 5 years of covering CSI athletics. That ball's hit on the ground to second. Nice job by Eaton to handle that grounder through the runner. And they're quickly 2 away.
And Eaton grabs that, makes the easy toss to first, and could have had a chance at 2, but takes the easy one at first, and there's 2 away now.
Mariah Carcano will be the batter as she comes to the plate with a runner in scoring position and 2 away. And Carcano takes a called strike 1. Oh, and 1 the count on the Dolphins center fielder, who right now may be responsible for the most important play in this game, as her throw to the plate, followed by the brick wall, Gallo applying the tag. That's the reason that the Dolphins still hold the lead. Comes the 1-1, and that's chopped on the ground to short, and Hune had trouble with it, and I think that was because McPherson entered her line of sight.
Yeah, and I think McPherson, a little bit of interference there, of course, not her fault. And she runs right past it and gets in the eyes of the shortstop and can't really handle it. Now runners at the corners for the Dolphins.
That goes up on the scoreboard as the first Lions error of the game, and rightfully so. Isabel Gallo is the batter, with runners now on the corners. 2 away for the Dolphins in the 3rd inning, and another chance for CSI to add to their lead.
And the breaks keep coming for the Dolphins today.
Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Gallo. And that's off the outside corner. Runner is going, and the throw goes into center field. And McPherson is allowed to score.
An interesting play there by the Lions, and they let that ball get away. And the Dolphins take advantage, and they're going to double the lead. A good heads-up play.
Well, I think that stolen base was being conceded. The question is, do you say that McPherson scored as a result of a throwing error? I don't think so, because she was going on the throw, but I think there was some miscommunication by the Lions right there, as it looked like they were playing that throw to be cut off behind the circle, and there was no one there to cut the ball off.
Yeah, just a complete miscue there by the Lions. And, of course, the Dolphins take advantage. They double their lead here in the bottom of the 3rd.
I think the Dolphins were more than content right there to get Carcano into a rundown And once Carcano was in the rundown, McPherson would ultimately try and come home, but there was no rundown because the throw went straight up the middle into center field. There was no one covering second. And now Gallo sends one into right center field, but Conrad gets there, ranging to her left to make the catch for the third out of the inning. But the Dolphins do scratch out another run on the base paths, and they lead by 2 heading to the fourth inning.
You Know 'Em Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know 'Em Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know 'Em Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know 'Em Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know 'Em Right.
And we're back on the ECC network with the Dolphins now leading by 2 runs. Our score 2-0 at the start of the fourth inning. Back to the circle for Anissa Acosta, and she will face 6, 7, and 8 in the Lions lineup as Carson Eaton quickly grounds out to third to open up the fourth inning.
And once again, Molloy continuing that quick swinging at the plate, as that's 1 pitch and 1 out for the Lions here in their side of the fourth, still without a run on the board.
They have been in attack mode from the get-go back in game 1. And they did get to Kelsey Strayer for 3 runs in that game. At one point, they led CSI, but that lead did not last as we have 2 pitches and 2 outs. Nicoletti pops out to short.
And they definitely need to start taking their time at the plate, and they're running out of time to score here. As the last game, only 3 runs. This game, 3 innings, no runs on 3 hits. And they just keep the attack going, Joe.
Steph Conrad is the batter, and she comes up empty on the bunt attempt for strike 1. Conrad walked her first time up. Dolphins infield is way in at second, short, and third. And that slap to the left side, handled by Moore. And her throw is in time. So 4 pitches in the inning for Anissa Acosta. And the Dolphins will lead 2-0 when we come back for the bottom half of the fourth.
Stop to make sure someone is okay. Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex where the Dolphins lead the Lions by a score of 2-0. For the Dolphins, it will be 7, 8, and 9. Macri, Porcaro, and Aponte in the home half of the fourth.
It was a very quick side on that top of the fourth. The Lions 1, 2, 3 in just about 5 or 6 pitches there. And they're still with a 0 in the run column.
And just as quickly as the Lions were retired in that previous half inning, the weather has taken a turn in the other direction as the temperature feels like it's beginning to drop again.
I agree, Joe. I agree. This weather's playing with us today, it seems.
And I know you've heard the news, but I am somewhat of a meteorologist myself, so I'm an expert on when to break out the jacket, and perhaps I was a bit early in removing mine, as I might need it again after this half inning.
Well, as you noticed, Joe, I followed your doing and taking the jacket off. So I'm right on the same page as you.
Good to know that we are in sync as the 2-0 pitch to Mockery misses for ball 3. And well, I thought it was ball 3, but we have a strike call. Lewis goes back to the jacket. He must be listening in.
That's one.
And Mockery takes a called strike 2. Definitely a lot different calling games from behind home plate on a cool day at field level than it is up in the warm press box with the windows closed, or at least open very slightly, over baseball.
Seems to be a lot more drastic of a change out here when the weather changes, when you're out here facing it.
Definitely is, as we brave the elements, but we will gladly take today's weather any day. As Mockery lined that last pitch foul and stays in the at-bat, the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Mockery battling hard here to open up the Dolphin side of the 4th, but a good job by King as she was behind 2-0 in the count. Now an even 2-2, she worked it back. So a good battle by both sides here.
That last pitch was number 50 for King, as Mockery sends that one back foul. This next pitch will be the 7th of the at-bat. Mockery walked her first time up. Here comes another 2-2 pitch. And Mockery pops it up foul. I can't hammer the point home enough. These Dolphins hitters have not been easy outs all day long. No easy outs coming from the Dolphins, and it's a big reason why they've been able to scratch out a couple of runs in this game and ultimately had the offensive explosion in the final inning of Game 1. Here comes yet another 2-2 pitch from King. And Mockery sends that one down the right field line foul.
And just a little over 9 innings, Joe. As you said, the Dolphins outscoring the Lions 13-3. In just a little over 9 innings of play here today. So, of course, no easy at-bats, like you said, in that Dolphins lineup.
Two balls and 2 strikes remains the count. Here comes the pitch. And Mockery hits one slowly on the ground to the left side. Hune has it. Throw to first in time. And Mockery is finally retired for the first out.
Got to give it to Mockery there. Good battle. Almost 10 pitches in just that one at-bat, but of course was beaten to the bag, and so that's the first out of the inning.
Claudia Porcaro will be the batter. Like Mockery did in her first at-bat, Porcaro also drew a walk her first time. And the first pitch she sees is in for a called strike 1.
And that Dolphins dugout has been going all day as they want both these wins today. And they won't accept anything less, it seems.
Well, that energy in the Dolphins dugout comes from the top down. That CSI coaching staff with infectious energy, and it's trickled down to their players as Porcaro is retired for out number 2.
2 up, 2 down for the Dolphins. And like we said before, not something that we've seen a lot today from the Dolphins, as we've seen a lot of tough at-bats and a lot of on base, and a lot of base running and a lot of scoring from the Dolphins. So
Layla Aponte is the batter, and she takes a called strike. Aponte hit to a fielder's choice her first time up. Comes the 0-1. And that's it hard on the ground toward the middle. Getting a piece was king, and that was enough to allow Eaton to make the play for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the fourth, but they still lead it 2-0 heading to the fifth.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island, where the Dolphins lead the Lions by a score of 2-0. Emma Bachman set to lead things off for Molloy in the top half of the fifth. And the Lions have been starved for offense in this game, have not gotten into the run column. Most of their hits came early in the game.
And once again, you see that early attack. Bachman, first pitch swinging.
Count quickly 0-2 on the Lions' right fielder.
Nice job by Acosta to find the zone, and quickly down 0-2 is Bachman.
In addition to the 3 hits, Acosta has issued 2 walks. And that pitch misses for ball 1. Acosta is still looking for her first strikeout. Comes the 1-2 pitch. And that catches the outside corner for a called strike 3. And Bachman did not like the call.
Definitely not, but Acosta gets a big one there to open up the Lions side. That's out number 1. And the Lions continue to struggle at the plate.
And I think the most interesting part of calling the game from over here right behind home plate is we can see every hitter's reaction to every call. We get a front row seat for every call, and it allows me to channel my inner umpire.
Definitely, Joe. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Especially without Nick Durst, who actually is an umpire, here to do that for me. And that one gets by Aponte, who made a nice diving attempt, and it rolls all the way to the right center field wall. Hune heads for third, and she slides in safely with a 1-out triple.
And that's big for the Lions. Hune with a 1-out triple in the top of the fifth, and they come alive here with a runner in scoring position, only 1 out. And finally some offense for the Lions.
We've seen that a couple of times this year where a ball was hit on the ground so hard that if it gets by the second baseman, it rolls all the way to the wall in right center field. And Aponte appeared to have gotten a glove on that ball, and that wasn't enough to stop it. It rolled all the way to the fence. Now Alex Burns has a chance with a runner on, and that is lined straight to Aponte, who makes the catch for the second out.
That's a big heads-up catch by Aponte over at second, as that was ripped right to her. And she just reaches up and grabs it. And now they're going to need a base hit to score Hune from third. That's a big play by the Dolphins.
Well, you weren't seated to my right during game 1 when I said it, Andrew, but I made the point that sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is good. And several times today, the Dolphins have been lucky. And Absolutely. That was another occasion right there.
Absolutely.
And that's not to say the Dolphins haven't been the better team today. They have so far. But there have been several instances where the Dolphins have gotten very lucky. And right there, that ball was scorched right at Aponte as Tracy Garofalo emerges from the Dolphins' dugout. And we'll have a word with her infield and starting pitcher, Anissa Acosta.
And just as the Lions thought they got something going, they get a triple and a runner at third with only one out. And that, like you said, luck right to the glove of Aponte at second. I mean, it could have went anywhere, and it was lined right to her, and she reaches up and grabs it.
We had a ball ripped into the left field corner in game one, right at carry-on. The Dolphins had no less than 3 bloop base hits, perhaps even as many as 4 of them, where they barely got the ball out beyond the infield, and that pitch sails over Green's head for ball 1. Green is 0 for 1 at the plate. Hit to a fielder's choice her first time, walked her second time up. Count even on the Lions' first baseman at 1 ball and 1 strike, and that's chopped foul.
And so Acosta just 1 strike away from once again getting out of the inning without giving up anything. And impressive stuff by Acosta to keep moving along here today in this one.
Dolphins freshman right-hander looking for 5 shutout innings. The 1-2 pitch is hit right back to the circle. Acosta handles it no problem and throws out Green for the 3rd out. And the Dolphins maintain a 2-run advantage headed to the bottom half of the 5th. Our score is 2-0.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet, and I took exception to what Louis Matrone, our statistician, just said to me. Somehow, some way, that ball hit into the right center field gap on the ground was ruled an error. There's no shot, as Aponte had to dive.
Yeah, like you said, Aponte had to dive to make the play, and I'm not sure how that would be an error.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. I'm not sure if you have the replay, but if you do, Andrew, we'll take a look. But there's no way. And the 0-1 is sent right back up the middle by Jacqueline Cateridge, who continues her phenomenal day at the plate with another base hit.
And Cateridge stays on fire, another base hit, leading off the inning with a leadoff single. And once again, Dolphins are in business to get some more scoring and pad their lead.
Well, we are going to have to agree to disagree. As Lewis is flashing me the error sign, I hope he's talking about the play last inning still.
Interesting stuff.
Though it's still wrong, as Acosta takes up high for ball 1. Anissa Acosta 0 for 2 at the plate in this game, and we just can't help it. Every game here on Sportsnet for the last 2 weeks, we've spent at least 20% of the broadcast talking about scoring decisions. It never fails.
It just seems like every game there's one of those plays.
As Acosta skies one out to right field, and Bachman makes the play for the first out.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 5, Samantha McPherson.
Samantha McPherson will be the batter. Just as she did in Game 1, she has reached base in her first 2 at-bats here in Game 2. Has singled and was hit by a pitch. And McPherson sends one out to straightaway center. Conrad is there waiting, and she makes the catch for out number 2.
And Dolphins with that leadoff single, just when you thought they could maybe get some more offense going here and add to their lead. 2 quick outs here for the Lions, and that's definitely something that they need at this point in the game.
Poor Nick Bavona on PA, man. He was to my right in game 1, had a perfectly functioning microphone here at the commentary desk, and the public address microphone is just giving him fits today.
And I'm not sure if that's the batteries dying out on him, as it's been used for now almost 2 games.
I doubt it. But this man can't catch a break over there.
Poor Nick.
Not his fault at all, as that pitch is taken downstairs by Elizabeth Moore for ball 1. Moore 1 for 2, has singled and grounded out in 2 at-bats. Could be a time where Cateridge over at first looks to run, as the Dolphins will try and scratch out another run here in the 5th. And Cateridge was running on that pitch. That's sent out to shallow right, and Eaton makes the catch. She was almost run over by Bachman, but that's the 3rd out of the inning. I will head to the stats desk, and we will head to the 6th inning. Our score, 2-0 Dolphins.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service. So is research, so is becoming a better person, and we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach, and he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him, and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
So we will have to agree to disagree on that call. We have a triple here. They have an error over there. However, the man that matters is behind the computer. So what he says goes. He has me on his right shoulder, our scoreboard operator and compliance officer, Erin Van Nostrand, a national championship winning softball coach on his left shoulder. Who will Lewis listen to?
And that's one of the toughest calls I think Lewis is going to have to make this year.
I think so, as he's over there laughing right now, but I don't know. If he changes it, I don't think he'll be laughing much longer.
I can agree with
that. We'll see. Very interesting conversation in between innings. But we have the benefit of replay. I'll pull it up on my phone because now I have to get another look. I can't be told I'm wrong and not get a look at the video. So we'll see. But we'll take care of that in between innings, as opening up the top of the 6th, Elena Spates is ahead 2-1. And she goes after the off-speed pitch downstairs for strike 2.
In later stages of this game, Acosta continues to work and continues to fool the batters. And as that was a nice pitch for strike 2.
2 balls and 2 strikes to count. And there's a half swing. Spates didn't run immediately. She still has a chance to beat it out, as McPherson's throw is a bit high, but it's pulled in nicely by Porcaro for the first out.
And Spates didn't start running for a second. She didn't think that would be fair, and all of a sudden it's rolling straight down the line to third in fair territory, and that's going to be out number 1.
Well, I can't blame Spates on that one. It was a half swing. The pitch was very far inside. She tried to hold up, and as you said, Andrew, she thought it went foul, as Amanda King takes a called strike. King is 0 for 2, has flown out and grounded out. And that misses up and away for ball 1. The Lions still stuck on 3 base hits. And Acosta's 1-1 pitch is fouled away.
And it could have been 4 if the conversation in between innings went the other way.
You're right. Could have. Funny thing is I have 4. Unfortunately, what I say does not matter. Aaron really tried to hammer that point home over there. Came at me a bit aggressively there as that's chopped on the ground to third. And that's booted by McPherson, though it would have been a close play at first anyway. That will likely go down as a Dolphins error.
And McPherson trying to scoop that up. And she tried to throw, I think before she even had a handle on the ball. So it pops right in and out of the glove, and she can't handle it. And so a base runner for the Lions.
Well, that wasn't going to be an easy play, but for McPherson, that's an error. And with 1 out in the inning, Carson Eaton sends one into the right field corner, where Mockery made the catch, completely obstructed from our view.
And she had to run out pretty far to grab that one, as, like you said, she ran out of our view, and she still made the catch.
Two away now in the road 6th, and Marissa Nicoletti will be the batter. And that pitch is fouled straight back. Nicoletti is 0 for 2, has grounded out and flown out in 2 at-bats. Comes the 0-1, and that's off the outside corner.
And Acosta, like I mentioned, either last inning or earlier in this inning, she looks very strong, just as strong as she did to start this game, as she continues to work away at these Lions batters.
And Acosta finds the inside corner with that 1-1 pitch. And she is now 1 strike away from 6 shutout innings. Here comes the 1-2, and that's line foul. King is the runner over at first. And if Nicoletti can keep the inning going, Steph Conrad would be next. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. For Acosta, that is her second strikeout. She strands 1 on base, and the Dolphins starter now has 6 shutout innings. The Dolphins lead it 2-0.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
And we are back on CSI Sportsnet as Mariah Carcano will lead things off for the Dolphins in the bottom half of inning number 6. Once again, the Dolphins looking for some insurance as they are 3 outs away from a sweep of this East Coast Conference doubleheader.
And as you mentioned, they're definitely looking for some insurance here in the bottom of the 6th, as we've seen the Lions struggle offensively in this game, but Dolphins, it is only 2 runs up on the board, so anything could happen here still with another inning to bat for the Lions.
0-1 the count on the Dolphins center fielder. And that's chopped on the ground to the left side, handled by Nicoletti at third, and add that to the list of nice plays by the Lions third baseman.
Yeah, and another great grab and another great throw. Great concentration to get that first out.
I just watched the replay of that E4. That is an egregiously bad scoring decision. Just saying.
I mean, we said it when it happened.
Yeah, but I wanted to be fair and go back and take a look at the video. I can certainly make mistakes. That was not one of them. That is 100% a base hit. And I hope that the Lions email or ACC Joe Masha and get it changed.
Incredible, Joe. Incredible.
I think Lewis sided with me and ultimately made the change back.
As he should.
As he should have. I don't know how anyone can be presented with that video and decide that that play was an error.
Maybe the people who are opposing need to see the replay.
They will in the next half inning. They will. As the 1-1 pitch to Gallo is popped up on the right side, and the catch is made by Eaton over at second for out number 2.
And a quick 2 outs here for the Dolphins in their side of the 6th. Still only up 2-0, so like you said, insurance would be nice. But if they don't get any, only up 2 runs going to the final inning, and they're going to need some good pitching.
Avery Mockery comes to the plate with the bases empty and 2 away in the bottom half of the 6th. And it's something that might not be talked about much if the Dolphins end up winning this game in shutout fashion. But Amanda King has pitched very well for the Lions.
Yeah, of course, Joe, just no offensive support.
None.
No runs on 3 hits through 6 innings of play here in this one.
And it shouldn't be forgotten. This is a Dolphins team that had 14 hits in 6 innings in Game 1. King has limited them to just 4. But she's gotten no help from her offense in this game. The Dolphins have also committed 3 errors, though we think that should be 2.
And to note, King did play the full first game batting.
She started in right field and committed a costly error of her own. She was ultimately moved to first base, and Bachman came in to play right. Now Bachman got the start in right. Game 1 starting pitcher, Courtney Green, moved over to first base, and King took over in the circle. 1-2 is the count, and that misses for ball 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Mockery looking to keep the inning going for the Dolphins. And the 2-2 pitch from King is fouled back. And I'm not sure there's a Dolphin who's seen more pitches per at-bat today than Mockery.
And she is one tough at-bat today, Joe. If she played in that first game, definitely could have been a game changer in the first game, too, despite already having 11 runs scored.
This next pitch will be the 6th of the at-bat, and that's down in the dirt for ball 3. Three balls and 2 strikes the count. And that pitch is lined into shallow right field. It's down for a base hit. And Mockery has her first base hit of the afternoon. She's on with 2 outs, and Claudia Porcaro will be the batter.
And if they want their insurance, this is their opportunity here. As Mockery gets a single with 2 outs in the inning to keep the inning going. And let's see what they do with that here.
Porcaro is 0 for 1, has walked and grounded out. And that pitch is popped up in foul territory where Green has plenty of room to make the catch for the 3rd out. So the Dolphins fail to get any insurance. Their lead will be 2 heading to the 7th inning Anissa Acosta, 3 outs away from a complete game shutout. The Dolphins lead the Lions 2-0.
You Know 'em Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know 'em Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know 'em Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know 'em Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know 'em Right.
First pitch of the 7th inning is chopped on the ground to third, and once again, Conrad uses the speed to beat it out on the infield, and very quickly, the Lions will bring the tying run to the plate.
And for once, the ambush tactics work for the Lions, as that's the first pitch of the inning, and they have a base runner at first. So let's see what they can get going here in their final chance of this one.
Natalie Musa will be the pinch hitter. She got into game 1 in relief in the circle. I'll have to get the numbers for Musa at the plate this year. As maybe some of that luck we talked about for the Dolphins in this game could break the Lions' way in this last inning, as that soft dribbler on the infield goes for an infield single for Conrad,
who, as we mentioned a few different times in a few different scenarios today, who's very quick.
That pitch is bounced foul by Bachman. Emma Bachman, 1 for 2, has singled and struck out in this game. She represents the tying run at the plate with the Dolphins leading 2-0. And that was my mistake, as I didn't record the pinch hitter in my stat keeping app. Apparently, I thought I did. But as I said, it's Natalie Musa who is the batter. So that is my error. Thank you, Andrew. You might have been better served muting the microphones and telling me verbally than with hand gestures, as that swung on and missed by Musa for strike 2.
We got the job done, Joe. We got the job done.
It did get the job done. About 3 pitches late, but we'll take it. So Musa is the batter, and lost in all of that were her numbers at the plate this year. Comes in 5 of 18, 278. She faces a 2-2 count here and takes up and away for ball 3. So Musa now has a full count. The runner on first has good speed. We'll see if the Lions choose to send the runner here.
I wouldn't put it past them, Joe.
That run means nothing, so I don't think they will, and they do not, as that's lined to center, where Carcano makes the catch on the run, and that is a loud out number 1.
And that one was cracked into deep center, but like you said, Carcano right there for it, and that's out number 1, and they're 2 away from...
One out in the inning. Acosta 2 outs away from the shutout as Chrissy Hune takes out of the zone for ball one. She's 1 for 3 at the plate according to my stats, 0 for 3 according to the official stats, but take a look at the scoreboard, Andrew. We've won. 2 errors.
We've won, Joe. We won the battle.
As McPherson with a nice play to get the lead runner at second. And over at first, Hune is safe on the fielder's choice.
And that's a good job by the Dolphins. They go for the textbook out, and they don't try and run 2. As they get the sure one at second. And only 1 out away now.
Great game from Acosta in the circle. She is 1 out away from the complete game shutout. And her first pitch sails up high to Alex Burns for ball one. Burns is 1 for 3, has singled, grounded out, and lined out. Comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's off the outside corner for ball 2. Wouldn't be surprised to see Burns take all the way here. And she looks at a strike.
And that's exactly what she does there, Joe. And
this is a batter Acosta certainly can't afford to walk. Burns with 2 home runs on the season is a power threat. Certainly could tie the game with 1 swing. And she swings through that pitch, evening up the count at 2-2.
not with that one, as she went right through that one, and now just 1 strike away is Acosta.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The Lions down to their final strike. And the pitch from Acosta is grounded to short, but it's booted by Moore, and everyone is safe.
And just when you thought it might be over, it could not be handled over by second base. It goes right off the boot and couldn't control. And so now 2 base runners with 2 outs in the inning, and this one will continue.
Well, that error, as costly an error as we have seen all game for the Dolphins. And we're going to have a pinch runner over at first base. Amanda Seratani, the pinch runner at first. Courtney Green is the batter. Seratani represents the tying run over at first as that's grounded back to the circle, backhanded by Acosta, and she throws out Green for the final out of the game. It is a complete game shutout for Anissa Acosta, and the Dolphins have swept the Lions, winning Game 2 by a final score of 2-0.
And what a game it was, Joe, and what a job by Acosta in the circle, completing the shutout and only giving up those 4 hits and no runs in the game, and a great complete game pitched by Acosta and by the rest of the Dolphins as well.
That's Acosta's second complete game of the season, her first shutout as the Dolphins hold the Lions to just 4 hits in Game 2. For CSI, 2 runs on 5 base hits was enough. They defeat Molloy by a final score of 2-0, and after back-to-back losses yesterday, the Dolphins bounce back in a big way here today.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And the first game, 11 runs on 14 hits, outscoring the opponent 11-3, and then coming into this one and shutting them out. Of course, like you said, the pitcher king for the Lions did a good job in this one, just didn't get any run support. And the Dolphins, like you said, only needed 2 runs to win this one, Joe, and they get back-to-back wins today.
So the Dolphins' bats came to life in Game 1. They did enough here in Game 2, but it was behind the arm of Anissa Acosta that the Dolphins pick up the win. She goes the distance, earns the shutout victory, allowed 5 base hits by my tally. The scoreboard reads 4, but I think they just forgot to add that last base hit in after the scoring change. Acosta walked 2, struck out 2, again went all 7 innings in this game, and the Dolphins did a phenomenal job all around. Really played great softball in all aspects of the game today. The 3 errors in game 2, really the lone blemish on the stat line, but fortunately, if you're a fan of CSI, those errors did not prove consequential.
Absolutely, Joe. Those errors didn't really even seem to matter, as the Lions in the second game couldn't even get any run support. They were shut out 2-0, and like you said, the Dolphins only needed those 2 runs on the 5 hits, and the errors did not come around to bite them, as Acosta was able to find the way out of that one.
Amanda King for the Lions in the circle allowed just 5 base hits and walked a pair. At the plate for the Dolphins in Game 2, it was a 2-hit game for Jacqueline Cateridge. She had a great day at the plate, had 2 hits in Game 1 as well. In Game 2, Cateridge was the only Dolphin with multiple hits, the other 3 CSI hits belonging to McPherson, Moore, and Mockery. For the visiting Lions, they had just the 5 base hits in the game by 5 different players: Hune, Burns, Spates, Conrad, and Bachman, and that was not enough to crack into the run column against Anissa Acosta on this day. So that wraps up our coverage of today's East Coast Conference doubleheader from the College of Staten Island. We will be right back on the air tomorrow, as first pitch against the Deauville College Saints will be at 1 p.m. I will have the call on Game 1 alongside Nick Bavona and Andrew. You will rejoin me and take over play-by-play for Game number 2 of tomorrow's game against the Saints. So until then, this has been Joe Foreman, and for my broadcast partner, Andrew Rotundo, and all of us here at the College of Staten Island, thank you for watching. Once again, our final score in Game 2, the Dolphins over the Lions by a final score of 2-0. Our next broadcast tomorrow when the Dolphins take on the Deauville College Saints, and if you can't attend the game, be sure to join us here on the ECC Network for that broadcast, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.